What?
There was just a massive solar flare, like X7.3, and it's pointed directly at Earth. This could be interesting. We're gonna have aurora. Like, damn, this is gonna be huge. Man, we just got shotgun blasted. We're about to in a day or two.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, like it might actually fuck with the electrical grid. Well, that happened just now. That it does anything at all. It's like half the time it's a positive charge, which does nothing, but half the time it's negative. Well, that was the Carrington event, and well, we did have telegraph wires, and so very briefly, you could just have people. And it was very rudimentary phone communication. Basically, you could just randomly start returning stuff without any power. Like you could have an unplugged stick, and you would start making a signal on the telegraph machine, and then all the wires caught fire. So that would be so. Yeah, like it actually, like I remember thinking this. There's an estimated damage for a year. We just had a decade of those things. Imagine everyone's trapped inside. And your glasses break, you're like, no! But I bought one of those ones. Because I'm like, man, the artist can look like so I got this one. It's like you can just like look at like some shit puddle and it will like, oh wow. It does like it translates the water from numbers. But yeah, we might have to turn off the electrical grid so the roads don't get transmission. And also, you gotta remember, when you hear blasts,
This lighting isn't flattering for you.
We're not ready yet. You weren't supposed to see that. You think it's not flattering? What am I supposed to do here? Are these soft diffused lighting? Straight on? Yeah, you're right. You know what? You're fucking right. You know what? Diffused. You know what? You're fucking right. Also, thank you for the 5. I appreciate it. Let's see if I can fuck with this light here. Or like change the brightness of it. I just have like a garbage. I have a garbage ring light. How's that? How's that? Now the mic looks hilariously in the way. With that, actually, that's good. That's good there. There we fucking go. Oh, okay. Guys, here's the deal. Okay, here's the sitch. Okay? I'm trying to download. I need to do stuff while I'm streaming. I can't just fucking yap. Okay? It's so annoying to fucking yap. So I'm working on something in the background. We're gonna play some video blames. I'm gonna yap and play video games. How about that? Okay? How about fucking that? We got some stuff cooking. Chat, what's up? How we doing? There you go. $5 started the stream. Imagine what 100 could do. Imagine what $100 could fucking do. I'd be crazy. Okay, whatever makes you happy. Nothing makes me fucking happy. I'm happy all the time. Fuck. This logging into things. Logging into things. Here we go. Verification code sent to me. Also, like the stream. If you're here, please and thank you. There we go. I need to receive a here we go. P M R 7C. You'll never know what I'm verifying with that code. That could have been $1 million fucking information. You'd never know. You have no idea. Why do I need to install so many fucking things to just play this shitty game? Okay, here we go. We're in. We're so back. You have no idea. You have no idea how back we're about to be. You have no idea how fucking entertained we're about to be. Let me see. What was the? I had a little topics list going on here. Also, I gotta turn off this fucking goddamn. What is this music? What is this fucking music? No, it's not. I don't want to play. Fuck. I'm trying to download. Kevin, where are you? How do you play old school RuneScape? Why can't I like log in with RuneLite anymore? There we go. Fuck me. No, I don't want to. I want to install RuneLite. Play. Okay, we're good. We're good. Thank fucking God. Okay, play now. Are we in? I think we're in. Okay, let me do that. Let me do this. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Ooh, there we fucking go. Okay. Shabba-dee. Shabba-doo. Boom. That's what I wanted right there. That's what I fucking wanted. Now I should be able to... No. No. That. Okay. We're in. Now I also need to buy membership for RuneScape because as you can see, I'm in a fucking... Where am I? What world am I in? What is... Wait, what is this? What is it? Oyster, unicorn horn, strange fruit. Why do I have... Wait. Why am I in a members only area? I haven't had members in so long. Why am I in sand crabs? Wait. Wait a second here. Is old school RuneScape... Wait, can someone explain this to me? Can someone explain this to me? Is old school RuneScape like free now? Bring up some Trader Joe's. Okay, first topic. I want to see the Iran attack on Israel. One second, let me get situated over here. Iran and Israel. I didn't actually, like, I followed this live, and then it seemed like nothing happened. It's looking like a whole lot of nothing to me. That was unfruitful. It was unfruitful. Honestly, boring. Unfruitful and boring. If I can be entirely frank there. What is this? No, it's because they increased the price of membership. If you have mems now, then. But I don't remember. Maybe I never stopped paying for membership. I haven't played RuneScape in like a year. Oh, fuck. Are you in Israel right now? I ran so far away, only 2 major bases appear to get hit, which they seem to evacuate. Going for military damage rather than casualties. Yeah, that's what it was last time. Or no, last time it was just like... Last time it was just fucking, like random hits. They didn't really do anything. Pentagon briefing, live.
To directly attack Israel. And so we're going to continue to consult closely with Israel on next steps and importantly on the defense of Israel. So,
and on the Israel's limited incursion, have they provided any sort of a timeline on how long they would stay there?
I'd refer you to Israel to talk about that. I don't think it'd be appropriate for me to talk about that. Hey, folks, while there's been an understandable focus today on the Middle East, before we conclude, I would like to provide a quick update on a topic closer to home as DoD continues to work with federal, state, and local officials to support Hurricane Helene response efforts. As of this morning, the department has more than 6,500 service members actively engaged in relief.
Oh yeah, the Hurricane Helene. Because I was in Florida when this hit, but it didn't hit Miami. And then everyone was saying, like, Twitter is so fucking annoying. And it's so annoying because people want to victimize themselves so much. People want to fucking victimize themselves so goddamn much. They're so excited to be at the receiving end of something bad. So when this hurricane hits, okay, everyone immediately is like, one, they're going to bury this in the news. Two, they're not going to help us because we're white. You see the same fucking talking points every single time. And it's like, no, they literally sent, I think Biden and Harris went there immediately. And they literally sent like hundreds of millions of dollars of aid in like a day. Obviously, they didn't do it right away because they don't know the scope of the hurricane until after it's finished.
Jaw-dropping images of Helene's aftermath almost defy description. The devastation is so widespread, spanning multiple states in the U.S. Southeast, leaving misery and ruin effectively everywhere.
It's just really horrifying. It was just unrecognizable when we were going around just looking to see if anybody was okay. I drive those roads all the time, and I just couldn't even picture where we were.
That's so
it's a total
fucked
mess.
up.
People have been swept away. Business have been ruined. Lives have been lost. It's absolutely insane, to be honest.
Folks are in shock.
Esther Mannheimer is the mayor of Asheville, North Carolina, a city of 90,000 set in the mountains, hit with catastrophic flooding.
There are neighborhoods where every other house has a tree on it or through it. Roads blocked, power lines, looks like, spaghetti. It really feels like, a post-apocalyptic scene.
We know that there are people missing, and we know that there's going to be significant fatalities at the end of this.
Indeed, hundreds remain unaccounted for. Meanwhile, some 2 million people are still without power. Food and
What is, did Mr. Beast is from North Carolina, isn't he? Am I crazy on that? Mr. Beast is definitely from North Carolina. Did he, like, comment on this at all? Oh no, he stopped tweeting after. He's not tweeted since the Ava Chris Tyson drama. That is. What's that? Really? He must be like. Surely he would send money to North Carolina. Greenville, North Carolina. Pull it up on the fucking map. Let's go. Vance is not winning that debate. Oh, when is that? I forgot that was happening tonight.
Calls sessions with top advisors and also including his wife Usha Vance. He has also done a
When is the Vance debate? Where is the PBS stream?
The
9 p.m.
opposition research
Oh, that works so
against not
good.
only Vance.
I didn't realize that was happening tonight. One second. Cool. Added that. I'll pop that on when it comes. That sounds interesting, though. I'd be interested to see. I'd be interested to fucking see. You know, because Vance... Vance is, very well spoken. I've noticed, like, any interview I've seen with Vance... He seems very articulate. He conducts himself very cleanly. Let's see if I can find, like...
Well, thank you.
Done. The child tax credit has languished thanks to the Biden administration because Harris has failed to show fundamental leadership.
Eyeliner
Chuck
always
Schumer's
on,
been
kind of
unable
look,
to get it through the United States
I don't know how
Senate,
I feel about
and
that.
we want to have a more pro-family policy. Now,
There was just a vote on this, you know that.
Well, let's.
And
it
you
was,
weren't there.
But Margaret,
it was a messaging bill. I'll give you that.
It was a show vote.
I'm with you on that.
And if I had been there, it would have failed.
So
and
tell me specifically what you want to do to expand the child care tax credit, because it's like $2,000 per kid right now.
Well, I think one of the things you can do is make it bigger per child. I think we'd love to see it at a higher dollar value. And
Do you
again,
have
President
a-
Trump
Thank you, Ben,
had
for the,
proposed that. I mean, look, I'd love to
very
see a
proud of
child
that
tax
video.
credit that's $5,000.
If you haven't watched it, go watch my new
We,
video.
of course, have to work with Congress to see how possible and viable that is. We've also proposed legislation, Margaret, to end this practice of parents getting these surprise medical bills where they go to the hospital, they have a baby, they chose an out-of-network provider, and they come home with unexpected bills. I've actually sponsored legislation to end that practice. So we have a whole host of pro-family policies that are out there. And again, on the Harris administration, I got to push back against something a little bit, Margaret, because when these comments where I said parents should pay lower taxes via the child tax credit came out, the Harris administration immediately jumped and said, we disagree with this. The Harris campaign said, we disagree with this. So that they want the elimination of the child tax credit, or were they just being careless in responding to remarks that I made 3 years ago? I don't know. They should clarify it, maybe in an interview with you. But of course, Kamala Harris refuses to do interviews with anybody.
Well, we hope to have her on and ask her about
too.
that. So the child care tax rate, you said $5,000 per child.
Anyway, old news. He does look strange. He does look a little stiff. I don't know. He's got a weird face. I mean, like, who am I to fucking say? Who am I to talk about weird faces? He's got that eyeliner on. He's got that dark eyeliner on. But what does anyone know about the JD Vance? Because I've only ever heard that he's connected to Curtis Yarvin, the philosopher behind JD Vance. I don't know. I don't want to watch a fucking hour-and-a-half video on this. Can someone just give me the succinct concept wrapped up in a nice little package? Like I would do it. 15 minutes. Lay it out. It's fake. It says Yarvin. They're not. So are they connected? There we go. Vanity Fair. I read this article when it came out. Don't fuck me here, a dark-haired woman, blah, blah, blah. Where's the Vance part? Here we go. 2 young Senate candidates. Okay, this is written in 2022. No one is leading this movement, but does have key figures. One is Peter Thiel, the billionaire who helped fund NatCon and who just given the conference's opening address. Thiel has also funded things like the Edge, Lordy, and Post-Left Intellect New People Cinema Film Festival. What's wrong with Post-Left, bucko? Oh, we got a casket. What do we got? We got some gold inside the casket. Fuck yeah. Long big donor of the Republican Party candidates, but in recent years, Thiel has grown increasingly involved in the politics of a younger and weirder world, becoming something like a nefarious godfather or rich general uncle. I mean, seeing Thiel has given more. Okay, wait. His most significant recent allies have been to 2 young Senate candidates who are deeply immersed in the scene, influenced by its intellectual currents, and are okay. That's a little loose. Okay. Thiel has given more than $10 million to super PACs supporting the men's candidacies and are both personally close to him. Vance is a former employee of Thiel's Mithril Capital and Masters. Until recently, the CEO of Thiel's so-called family office also ran the Thiel Foundation, which has become increasingly intertwined with this new right ecosystem. These 3, Thiel, Vance, Masters, are all friends with Curtis Yarvin, a 48-year-old ex-programmer and blogger who has done more than anyone to articulate the world historical and critique and popularize the key terms of the new right. You'll often hear people in this world, again, under many layer ironies, calling him things like Lord Yarvin or our prophet. Okay, so Vance, blah, blah, blah. Smoking as Yarvin. I chatted about whether he'd be willing to talk to me on record. Madison and Vance are different from Holly and Cruz. The former 2 are extensions of Thiel. Vance sits somewhere in between these 2 candidates. At 37, he's a venture capitalist who is young enough to be exposed to the dissident online currents, but is also shaped By the most deeply traditional thinking of American culture, he's friends with Yarvin, whom he openly cites as a political influence. There was baptized in Catholic Church in 2019. I'll be writing about the militias and right-wing stirrings, how this alchemy worked. Until I first met him last July, I'd gone back to Ohio to see my uncle dying of cancer. Vance and I both grew up around Cincinnati, immersed in a culture of white rural migrants who had come from coal fields and farm towns to look for work in the cities of the Midwest. We had met as a kind of experiment. I was going to be in town anyway, and because my uncle was sick, I was thinking a lot about the place and what it meant to be. What it meant to me. On a whim, I asked an editor at a conservative magazine if he would write something from the perspective of a skeptical leftist. Vance suggested that we meet for dinner, where my dad had often taken me as a kid. He was barely registered in the polls at the office. What do we got here? On-screen chat. Walls literally said he was poor debater. Vance actually very good in a Senate debate. I swear Yarvin is not that. I swear Yarvin said it's not true, and I don't think Yarvin is a liar. The presidential debate was a slaughter. Yeah, definitely. It definitely was. Probably. Vance joined in with the cats. Oh yeah, I mean, that was the one thing. That thing about the fucking cat, where he was like, we had to make up the narrative to. My house is fucking shit in this game. Here we go. You have a sneaking suspicion that you would have received an easy clue scroll. Oh, weird, because I already have one. Actually, let's do this clue scroll real quick. Fuck it. Search the crate near Port Khazard. Where is that? I don't know my RuneScape locations well at all. The chat is also so in the way. Show us the Canadian provincial debates. That's fucking even more boring. Actually, Canadian politics, the live streams of the Canadian politics have gotten way more exciting. How do I get here? Charter ship to Port Khazard. Okay, let's run it. Bank, deposit warrant items. Where is my beginner, elite, hard? I'm gonna do those. Where is my graceful? I'm gonna get my graceful on here. And why do I have an abyssal whip and an abyssal dagger? What was I doing? Oh, I was doing Slayer. I haven't played this in like 2 years. Trying to figure out what like you were doing in RuneScape when you come back is so frustrating. It's like piecing together a fucking murder scene. Cannon. Fuck, there's so many fucking things here. What is this? Just a bunch of fucking garbage. Rune. This is a bunch of alkables. Yeah, this is a bunch of alkables. Okay. Take this. Take all this fucking loot. Oysters. Iron pickaxe, I don't need that. What else do I need? Stamina pots. Also, my cash stack is on me as well. Get that in there. Dun. Drop the oysters. Skills necklace, I need that. Unicorn horn, fuck you. Drop you as well. Do you guys believe Trump is traumatized, or is the age getting to him? I saw some video on the news channel of my country, and he looks very dead inside. I agree. He does not have the fucking moxie that he used to have. That dude is falling apart, to be frank. What do I... Wait, no, I need an Amulet of Glory, don't I? Oh my god. Kick some pie. God fucking damn it. Glory. Where's my glory? Amulet of Glory. There we go. Rub. Needs to be recharged. Why do I have 2 dead Amulet of Glories? Get those off my fucking... Get rid of those. Get rid of those fucking glories. Rub. I need to go to Draenor Village. Shut the fuck up with your goddamn French. Get out of here. Get out of here with your French yapping.
Oh my gosh, welcome back to Behind the Bastards, a podcast that you are legally required to be listening to in at least 4 U.S. states. 6 if you have a criminal record and are currently working through probation.
Which 4?
Which 4? Sophie, I don't have that information ahead of me right now. I was not prepared for a deeper bit than this.
Oh, well, for some reason I know it's Idaho.
That's because I am not a professional comedic actor, but you know who is, Sophie?
Oh.
Our guest today, Ed Helms. Ed, I mean, I don't need to introduce you. You've been on The Daily Show. You were a major cast member on The Office. You were in the Hangover movies. You've been in like a ton of things that I'm sure basically everybody watching or listening to this has watched. But today we're here to talk about your show, Snafu, which has just entered season 2. Thank you for coming on the show.
I'm so psyched to be here. Your show is awesome, and
thank you.
This is going to be fun. I hope it better be.
I wanted to say, so Snafu season 2, you talk about like major fuck-ups in American history, and season 2 is about the raid on the FBI building in 1971 that revealed a huge amount of information about how the FBI was conducting clandestine operations targeting anti-war protesters and civil rights protesters. It's like one of the coolest chapters in American radical political history, and I thought you guys did a great job of breaking it down and bringing on some of the major players, talking through it.
Yeah, thanks. We were incredibly lucky. It's a wild story, as you're getting at. Yeah. These citizens who were not at all professional thieves or criminals staged this incredible heist on the night of the Ali Frazier fuck fight, which is very Ocean's 11.
Is there timestamps in this? Get to the good part. Get to the Vance part. Part 2? No.
Oh my gosh, welcome back. He wrote in a discussion on Usenet, I wonder if the Soviet power ladder of vicious bureaucratic backbiting brings stronger men to the top than the American system of feel-good sound bites. Now, given that the USSR collapsed the next year, not a great prediction.
Yeah. Wow. This is so interesting. This is like, you should have had Rainn Wilson on this episode because you're describing Dwight Schrute.
Yeah, he's got more than a little bit of that, right?
Yeah. A precociousness and a sort of very specific kind of brilliance and a preoccupation with like stern leadership.
And can you just imagine Dwight just telling everybody that he entered a Johns Hopkins study of mathematical precocious youth? That would be brought up constantly.
By the way, if there is one way to guarantee...
Yeah, but why is this... Wait, I don't understand. Why is Ed Helms... I'm sorry, I just fucking clued in. Why is Ed Helms on this podcast?
You're gonna get your ass kicked on a playground.
So true. So true.
Yes. You're not even gonna get out the first syllable of precocious before they start swinging.
What? Bro, you know what's crazy? When I was with Destiny, I helped film stuff with Destiny and Rowan. And seeing how he just fucking operates day to day is insane. Like just how he conducts himself. Where like the part that sticks out the most to me is I was in Destiny's apartment filming stuff, okay? In his apartment, like in his actual house, I saw like his stream setup from behind. Like I was in the room where he streams, looking at the angle. It's like really uncanny to see that from a different angle. So bizarre. And we were chatting. We were filming stuff. We were kind of chatting. He's very hard to get the attention of. He's very scatterbrained and like always moving around. So we were like talking, and I turned around while saying something. And then as soon as I turned around, he like cuts off, this guy's fucking retarded. And I turn around and he's on Twitter watching a video at 2 times speed of just like 2 random people I've never heard of talking to each other. Like that guy's always on. It's so impressive to it's so impressive to be able to yap that much. Like genuinely, I can't do it. I can't yap like I can yap. Of course I can yap. I'm a professional yapper. But I can't like pull out takes that fast. The speed at which he has takes is insane. Green hat. I need a green hat for this clue scroll. Green hat. Cream robe top. Leather chaps. None of this shit's fucking buying. Green hat. Can I please buy this fucking green hat, please? There we go. Leather chaps. How much are leather chaps worth? He does, yeah. He's a. It's a blessing and a curse. Much worse off when you can't stand the sound of your own voice. Yeah. They're fucking crazy with it, dude. He's like a cult leader. I mean, the way it seems, unless this is a bit and I'm fucking missing out, the way he seems to run his community is fucking baffling. The amount of people that get banned and permanent banned and banned into the fucking subreddit, it's there we go. Okay. Wait. What is the fastest way to Rimington? Location. What is the fastest location to Rimington? How do I get there? Probably the skills necklace, I'm assuming. I would, yeah. Skills, hot air balloon. Rimington. Where's the crafting guild? Skills necklace, crafting guild. There we go, okay. Falder, Run South, or Crafting Guild. I mean, look, I like Destiny's takes. I really do. I find out of anybody I watch, and coming into it from, like, not a young person, like, someone who I've spent a lot of time, like, just existing, forming my political takes. Not that I am, you know, I feel pretty, like, I'm pretty confident in what I say. And he's, like, I find out of, like, the people talking, he's the person I'm most aligned with on most things. And I find when he has things, like, when he has takes, I'm like, oh, that's, like, a take I would have. Or, like, oh, you're basically, like, we're building off of the same framework. And we end up having, you know, the same background. And we have similar takes. One second, let me do this spin emote. There we go. Oh my god, I got a two-step clue. Ready. Open it. What do we got? Nothing. We got blue firelighters and a black sword. Awful. Awful clue step. God fucking damn it. Yeah, I don't like Vosh. Really don't like Vosh that much. Hassan, like, fuck Hassan. I'm so fucking over Hassan. I don't engage with Hassan much, but, like, it's not... I don't like Marxists. Like, I don't like Marxists, and I find that Marxists yap so much. Like, when you ask a Marxist... When Marxists have a take on things, it's either insane fucking conclusions that no one would ever come to. Like, you have to have all these presuppositions you're operating from in order to, like, come to Marxist conclusions. Like, I don't think capitalism is bad. You know, there's kind of, like, these, like, non-starters that Marxists... For me, I can't get behind, like, many Marxist arguments because we're fundamentally disagreeing on, like, reality. So it's either these, like, wild takes that I, like, literally feel like I'm in a different world than they say, or they fucking obfuscate and say insane shit and quote really... Like, Marxists are very good at... That's why there's so many Marxist debaters, is they're so good at controlling the frame, because if you can just get someone into your world, into your crazy, kooky Marxist theory world, and then start arguing from all your perspectives, and they're stuck in your fucking bubble, they can't get out of it. If they haven't read what you've read, they can't get out of it. But you shouldn't be like, unless you're debating law or things that actually happened, you can't debate the value of stuff based on like literature other people haven't read unless it's objective facts. But if it's not objective facts, if it's you're not citing empirical knowledge, if you're just citing like theory, then you're gonna win if you can get them in your frame and control them.
The more you read into Marxist thought, the more you'll hate them.
Yeah, I've gotten there. I've been there for a long time. It's a lot of stuff where it's like I was told so often to read these certain books, especially in university, like how important some books were to read that I was supposed to understand. And I just find it pushed me away from it farther and farther. And I always felt like I was missing something. Like, oh, I'm genuinely uneducated because I'm not reading these books. I should be reading these books and like educate myself. And just, I don't know, like Marxist theory. I'm trying to think of some examples of like famous Marxist theory, like Orientalism. I guess it's not really Marxist theory. That's like critical race theory. I guess, okay, critical theory in general. Critical theory in general. Like, it's interesting, but it's thought. I stand behind the fact that it's thought art, you know? I've read, like, Friedrich Jameson's a great author. From what I've read about, like, Deleuze and Guattari, great authors, as, like, fun. Like, they're fun to read in a literal sense of, like, it's like a mental adventure. It's like you're taking off on a journey into a magical world. Okay? And you're adopting all these perspectives, and you're adopting this framework and this knowledge and then building off of it. And it's fun to like look at the world through that lens for a second. But then to stay there and be like, okay, this is now my worldview. I really can't get behind. Let's sell this black. Wait, no, let's put that in the alkables category. What do we got in here? Ensouled Dragon Head. I'm feeling, what is my task? Wait. Blue dragons. I was killing fucking blue dragons. What is this? Wait. I was reading that. Where'd that go? I was just reading a message. Deleted it. I was killing blue dragons? Yeah, there's a wild sentence out of context. Yeah, no. Walter Benjamin. Say it correctly. Benjamin. Walter Benjamin. Okay? French guy. No, sorry, German guy. Where the fuck is Walter Benjamin from? Walter Benjamin. That's why I had the Abyssal Dagger. I was killing blue dragons. That's why I had the Abyssal Dagger. Yeah. German, Jewish. Let's see if there's a succinct little packaged video essay on Walter. Come on. Give me a good video essay. What is this? Then and Now, 5 years ago, 9 minutes. Here we go.
A generation that had gone to school in horse-drawn streetcars now stood in the open air amid a landscape in which nothing was the same except the clouds, and, at its centre, exposed to a force field of destructive torrents and explosions, the tiny, fragile human body. To Walter Benjamin, the German art critic and philosopher, this summarised the problems, the questions of modernity. Modernity was about mass democracy, mass media, mass culture, mass commodification, mass transport, mass warfare. Accounting for and interpreting that massive change was, for Benjamin, the essential task of that moment, of those precarious interwar years. For much of his life, he tried to make sense of this monumental change. In 1921, the first Autobahn opened. In 1927, Charles Lindbergh made the first air crossing of the Atlantic. In the same year, Benjamin flew for the first time himself. Radio, telephone, cinema were suddenly everywhere. He was fascinated by how human experience was sculpted by these historic changes. As a Jew and a Marxist, he fled Germany in 1932 as Hitler took power, and in 1936 published the work of art in the Age of Mechanical Reproduction from France. In what would become his most influential essay, Benjamin argued that mechanical reproduction not only changed how art was developed or distributed, but changed the very definition of what art was. The essay starts by exploring what's been lost as a result of reproduction. primarily an artistic object's authenticity. He writes that even the most perfect reproduction of a work of art is lacking in one element: its presence in time and space, its unique existence at the place where it happens to be. The ability for artworks to be copied, to be everywhere, of course produces new possibilities, but represses something too. Its aura. This shattering of tradition, this renewal of mankind, are intimately connected with the contemporary mass movements, he wrote. But what actually is aura? Benjamin argues it arises out of an object or phenomena's uniqueness, and consequently of being close to that uniqueness. The aura of a sunset or a mountain range and the awe that it inspires. This uniqueness of a work of art also arises from its place in a tradition. Historically, artistic objects were at the centre of ritual, objects of magic, cult, or sacred status. This later developed into appreciating art's beauty and the idea of art for art's sake. What was important with all three was that art's value lay in either the object itself or in the cultishness that gave it its value. The cult of beauty, the cult of art for art's sake, the artist or the object, the leader, the god, the prophet. As art becomes designed with reproducibility more and more in mind, it becomes less dependent on ritual and more dependent on something else: politics. Cultish art existed for its own sake. Paintings pointed inwards. They venerated religious figures or family members. Cults are about their one-of-a-kindishness, the singularness of the figure at the centre. Politics, though, is different. It points to the future, to deliberation, to persuasion. Reproducible art is made with its potential for exhibition in mind, its potential to be seen by the masses and appeal to them in some way. Cinema, photography, radio, they all lose their uniqueness and their aura. The ritualistic aspect dissolves, but Benjamin's also interested in what we get in its place. In particular, we start to focus on the way things are framed, on montage, on cuts, on the text on the plaque, on the article next to the photo, on the location, on the political significance of art. The result of reproducibility is most aptly seen in film and how it can be cut, rearranged, and manipulated. For Benjamin, this has revolutionary consequences. Art becomes scientific. But film is also a communal experience, both in the cinema and in the way it brings single subject matters to the masses. Slips of tongue go less unnoticed. Objects can be analysed more precisely. Audiences can react together across the world. Our taverns and our metropolitan streets, our offices and furnished rooms, our railroad stations and our factories appeared to have us locked up hopelessly. Then came the film and burst this prison world asunder by the dynamite of the 10th of a second, so that now, in the midst of its far-flung ruins and debris, we calmly and adventurously go travelling. With the close-up, space expands. With slow motion, movement is extended. The moving along of the film, scene after scene, cut after cut, leads you somewhere in a way paintings can't. Benjamin quotes the French author Georges Dumas: "I can no longer think what I want to think. My thoughts have been replaced by moving images." For Dumas, being distracted by quickly moving images was a bad thing. But Benjamin thinks distraction can be revolutionary. Being distracted away from your own thoughts means the viewer absorbs the art, absorbing the habits the filmmaker intends. The essay ends with a brief but influential analysis of the way fascism utilises mass production and how art must counter it. He argues that fascism gives expression to the proletariat, to the masses, without changing the economic structure. The bourgeoisie, the Führer, the cult holds its place, while only representing the masses. The logical result of fascism, he writes, is the introduction of aesthetics into political life. If technology isn't used for positive purposes, it utilises aesthetic form for the expansion of man's domination, his imperialist expansion. The last line reads, "Communism responds by politicising art." It's a difficult, winding and far-reaching essay, and the Marxism that runs through doesn't have to be accepted to find value in its arguments. In 1995, David Douglas gave Benjamin's analysis the digital treatment. What was new, he asked, about art in the digital world? Not only can art now be mass disseminated, it can also be mass edited. Reproduction was followed swiftly by variation. Individuals could put their own stamp on almost anything. Benjamin wouldn't have been surprised about the doctrine of images and the fake news that emerges out of carefully selected perspectives, nor how the cult of film.
Are we a couple of hawk to a
What are you doing?
hawk to a are we a couple of hawk are we a couple of hawk to a are we a couple of hawk to a hawk to the hawk to the hawk to a mother hawk to us? Are we a couple of mother hawk to us? I got there eventually. Are we watching a vice presidential debate or not?
I was watching this nice piece about Walter Benjamin. That's how you say it. Benjamin. Walter Benjamin and his work, the work of art in the age of mechanical reproduction. Yap. Yap. He killed himself too.
Why are you listening to this? If he killed himself, nothing you said ever mattered.
Yeah,
If you kill yourself, none of your philosophy matters. It doesn't matter anymore.
it's true. I back it up.
Actually, it only matters is something like not to do.
Yeah, don't believe in this guy. Who didn't kill themselves? Who's the best philosopher?
Socrates.
Socrates? He killed himself.
Fuck!
He didn't kill himself.
No, gosh dang it!
Socrates, like, Socrates was like death by cop, basically.
Oh.
He got suicided by cop. In like a really schizo way. He like lost his own trial on purpose. I'm trying to figure out what items I need to go kill blue dragons.
Is this your old account?
Yeah, I've had this account for like 4 years.
If I have an account from like 15 years ago, does it still work?
Yeah.
Really?
Ah, there's Kevin. Right there. Oh, even Infernal Cape now? What the fuck, dude? That's goated. That's a goated fucking account right there. Damn, dude. Are you maxed? Are your skills maxed? No, 91 thieving, 96 herblore, 90 agility, 90 smithing, 95 fishing. Okay, come on. 95 runecrafting? Come on. Motherfucker.
Who's Kevin?
Kevin, friend from high school.
Oh, you're playing with your buddies?
No, he just found me. But he's also a mod in my chat.
Oh.
Yeah. And now what I'm trying to do...
I drag, love vaping.
Some call you a vapist.
I've been known to vape.
Some call you the world's biggest vapor. Some call you the world's craziest vapor.
I wish I was vapor.
You wish you were vapor? Who are you then?
I could just fill this entire room. Dematerialize and inhale me.
Oh, you wish you were vapor?
Yeah.
Vapor? Vapor?
Vapor, yeah.
You're a vapor? You're vaporous?
I'm vaporous.
You're Vaporeon?
And I'm also... No, don't look this up.
Hey guys,
Oh,
did you
no.
know that in terms of male human and now this means sizes and still
Vaporeon
come
being
for more.
sexy, 16 video playlist?
Dreg, will you stand for election?
All right, dude. I'm wearing the costume. Can I go now? I promise I won't use any silly tricks.
Yes, I'll stand for the election entirely. I'll never sit down.
I don't want to watch that ever again.
You can't title your stream "Something is Happening" and then just put on the.
All right, dude. I'm wearing the costume. Can I go now?
I can't watch Vaporeon porn on my
Hey,
stream.
Martin Sidopants live. That guy's in our studio right now.
Where does it say that?
Martin Sidopants live. It's over there.
Where does it say Martin Cedar Pants Live? Oh, driving a 200,000 horsepower truck in Euro Truck Simulator 2.
Not to brag.
Not to brag.
Let me make this face. There's that. Not
to brag!
Not to brag. We have Martin Sidopants in our studio.
We do have Martin Cedar Pants in the studio. I need to buy a fucking Dragon Fire Shield. A dragon with a JR. Oh no, sorry, anti-dragon shield.
Thoughts on Iran launching missiles? Let's just say the conflict is widening.
Ayn Rand launched missiles?
Yeah, Ayn Rand. She got back from the dead. She came back from the dead and started launching missiles.
Fuck, I gotta tweet in the chamber.
He's been posting tweets on my account.
I gotta tweet in
the most recent tweets. I need to go on the record. These are not my tweets. This is him on my account tweeting, and yeah, Iran. Yeah.
Come on. Dude.
Ayn Rand?
That's gold.
That's pretty good.
That's pure fucking gold, dude.
Alright, I'm gonna retweet that one.
You should. Look, I retweeted you.
You retweeted your own fucking tweet on my account. That's nothing. That's not a show of support.
That's it. Dude, come on, walk to it to beat me on drum.
No.
Walk to it to beat me on drum.
No.
That's genius.
That's not good.
Look, banger tweet gold. They're all in for it.
I'm not retarded anymore is a good tweet, though.
Yeah, I pinned that. I just wanted to let the world know that I was making serious videos now. I took I am retarded out of my...
Yeah, this has been a theme for you. You want to like stop identifying as retarded.
Yeah. Look, Neutron Star reposted it.
Neutron Star. Two Mad's last words. Neutron Star.
It's also followed by him for some reason.
Followed by Two Mad, who is dead.
Followed by a dead guy.
Followed by a dead guy. I'm followed by a dead guy.
Who?
Two Mad.
Oh, Two Mad follows you?
Followed by a famous dead man. This is the only famous dead man that follows me.
Scared to death of Ethiopian magnesium.
Neutron Star. That's a fine way to go at.
That is a fine way to go. Look, it's doing numbers. It's doing numbers, dude.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah. Look, Turkey Tom. A blind American hawk meets a blind Canadian hawk. The American hawk introduces itself by saying, "I'm a hawk." The Canadian replies, "No way, I'm a hawk too, eh?"
What?
I'm a hawk too, eh?
That doesn't sound like hawk toi.
Hawk toi?
It's not two. It's toi, not two a.
What is this? Heartbreaking images of television forced to hide my body. There they go.
Oh, Glitch Kurd is also followed by a dead famous man.
Who's Glitch Kurd?
Your fellow. Your top chatter, Glitch Kurd.
Glitch Kurd.
I'm generously interpreting that N as an R.
Oh. Yes.
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 Is the act thing for real? Yes. I'm an accelerationist.
Okay, I gotta equip this Dragon Fire Shield.
Do it.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do, Greg. We're gonna go to the bank. We're gonna take out all of our money. We're gonna go Amulet of Glory. Where does this take me? Dude, all this shit, it's like a language you fucking forget. It's like a language you're supposed to remember all the time, then you fucking forget it. I need the dig site, the Ring of Dueling. What's the Falador What is the Falador teleport? Kevin! I need the Falador teleport. Combat bracelet. Which one is it? No. Fuck me, dude. Go to my house in Remington. If you insist. And all the teleports will be yours. Oh wait, no, it's fine because I have to do Slayer. I'm gonna be going back and forth a lot. I should get the Vance debate up. CNN. High stakes VP debate.
Oh, I actually want to see that. When is that happening?
9 p.m.
9 p.m.
You want to sit here the whole time?
I do, but I also have a call at 9.
Oh, that sucks for you.
Unfortunately, I gotta work to support the large amount of money I'm giving my landlords today.
Hey,
plural.
Hey, look, I work. $10 an hour, baby, and that's USD. So don't get it twisted. Don't get it fucking twisted. $10 an hour.
Yeah, I mean you're working right now.
I'm at work.
This is work for you?
I'm working. I'm playing RuneScape. And
isn't that awesome?
I know. Isn't my life amazing?
But they don't see. They don't see the deep, dark sadness.
They don't see the fact I got a 9 out of 10 today on YouTube.com.
They don't see that. They don't see that. An excellent video.
What anime besides Eva do you enjoy?
Eva's the only anime I've watched. I've never watched another anime. Except for like Ghibli movies. I really like Ghibli movies.
Someone asked how much money I would give to Israel. And I think the real question is how much money can Israel
give to you?
Give to me. Ask not how much money you can give to Israel. I would, for like 2,000 Israeli dollars, flip my whole swag. Just flip all of it.
You'd flip your whole swag?
I'd flip my whole swag. I would never say Zog again for $2,000. I might say some other things, though.
Look, dude, this is doing numbers.
Yeah, well.
Because you retweeted it. Look, dude, it's doing fucking numbers, dude. Come on. Dude, that's a killer fucking tweet. Dude, life's so good. Just like I've been knocking out banger tweets all day. On your account, on my account. I got 100 concurrent. I've made $15. I'm playing RuneScape. Martin Cedo Pants is in the studio.
Martin Cedo Pants is in the studio. Anyone know Martin Cedo Pants in chat?
I need Martin Cedo Pants fans in chat.
Any Cedo Pantsers?
Any shit pants heads. Any shitty pants heads. Martin makes me want to be a gamer YouTuber. Actually, his videos are so fucking entertaining.
And they do well. He does well for himself.
He does well for himself, and they're so entertaining.
He doesn't need to ask Israel for money.
Although he should.
My summer car in Israel? What a beautiful country.
What a beautiful country you have here.
Worth protecting.
Oh, games necklace. That's gonna take me to Israel.
What?
Sorry, I just wanted to say that.
I was like, is there Israel in this game?
I just wanted to say that, Greg. Don't worry about it. Fuck, dude. What am I doing? I need to pray melee. I need to pray. What do I need? Fuck, what do I need? What is the best dragon setup? I love fucking random news ads. Hope. This thing is this thing.
And this other thing is this other thing.
We walk it together. And this thing is... I'm crazy about it. I'm fighting for Haiti.
You almost slipped into an accent there.
This thing, I'm crazy about it. New Yorker. I was doing a New York... She's black. I'm doing
a black New Yorker, right?
A black New Yorker. That's all I'm doing. This thing... I love Haiti so fucking much. That's what she would say.
And I'm walking here.
Haiti is the best fucking country. My dad came over here, started the fucking bodega. On 7th, on 1st and 103rd. The bodega. And now I think, fuck me, dude.
It's a bodega with 2 cats in it, neither of which have been eaten.
Yo, can I give a big fuck you to the Nelk boys, to my 100 followers, my 100 fucking viewers here? Losers. They did a food truck. They went to Springfield, Ohio. Think about this. Think about the fucking optics of this, okay? Fuck the debate for a second. Look at this fucking nerd, okay? Look at this fucking shit. God fucking damn it.
Holy shit, you have like 2 Haiti viewers watching right now.
Do I?
Yeah.
Oh, still in Haiti? Damn. What's up, bro? How you doing?
Yeah, shit is crazy. Right now I'm in Haiti. I'm fired up about it, though. Fuck everything, man.
It's Ben Chitty.
Oh, I see. That guy's not from Haiti.
But Bobby and Two Crows.
Bobby and Two Crows is from Haiti. That's interesting.
Damn. Nelk boys.
How's Haiti? What's going on in Haiti right now?
Look at this. Yesterday, they got a food truck called like Wolf and Whiskers and put it in Springfield, Ohio, and they're like, we're selling dog and cat meat out of this food truck. A month after the joke is dead. It's been a fucking month since the debate. And these fucking Canadian losers, these grown fucking men go and pull this fucking joke that's like making fun of shit that's actually dividing the fucking country.
I think
losers, man. Holy fuck these people.
I think we should eat them. That'd show them.
I'd never bring the Nelk boys in the fucking studio. I don't give a fuck.
I'd bring them into the studio and then eat them.
I'm on record. Fuck the Nelk boys. Clip it. Send it out. Fuck them.
Hey, and I just want to say I'm here too.
Greg agrees. He fucking hates the Nelk boys. Retards.
I love everyone. Except the Nelk boys.
And they're Toronto too. The Toronto natives.
Are you sure? What if they were like DMing me right now and they were like, "We're the Nelk boys."
Look, I've picked my camp. I have my people. Okay, I have my famous people that I would bend over for.
These guys are not it.
These guys are not it. I have enough famous people in my fucking dossier that I don't have to fucking like bend over to the Nelk boys if they're like, "Hey man." For some reason, why would the
Nelk boys ever be interested in us either?
Just in case they are, it's a no. It's a preemptive fucking no.
Yeah. I think I broadly agree with that one.
Fuck them.
We do epic pranks.
We grift the Republican Party even though we're fucking Canadian.
Race Guesser. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wow Mao did Pheno Guesser. Is that Pheno Guesser? Oh no.
Leo gets called racist on the internet a lot.
No, I know what he's talking about, dude.
Me a little bit, but that's only because of...
I made
What you said? The name? Okay, I know nothing about the borders.
Spin-off called Pheno Guesser, and someone made that real.
I like that Wow Mao is a Filipino British guy, only he's wearing a mask with a fez on.
We should do Pheno Guesser at the studio.
Pheno Guesser at the studio?
With Mart. We should just make him do it.
Make Mart do Pheno Guesser? I think he'd be fine with it.
Oh, Destiny only averages like 4K.
No, he just started. He always averages like 10K.
Oh, okay.
Breaking Points is doing well though.
21K.
21K. Damn, good for you, Breaking Points. Although I kind of don't like them very much anymore.
No, you're not a breaker.
They just got really anti-American.
Not a points breaker.
They just got really fucking anti-American.
Give us your last thoughts as we
Pheno
watch
Guesser is a
here
real thing.
as
You can look
J.D.
it up.
Vance is off in the wings for the moment. Oh, there he is.
It's performance. That seems
Have fun.
obvious, but no faux pas. And they're looking for a viral moment. That's what they'll be looking for.
No handshake. No handshake, and there you have it.
No one's gonna
Walls will
win.
just be taking some notes. J.D. Vance doing the same as our colleagues.
And they were shaking hands before the cameras came.
That's right.
We all lose.
Well, we have the vice presidential debate coming up in a moment. It will be moderated by our own Nora O'Donnell and Margaret Brennan. Ohio Senator J.D. Vance and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz take the stage. Well, they've taken the stage, so stick with us here and join us also on our streaming channel, CBS News 24/7, for exclusive content you won't see anywhere else. Thank you for joining us.
Hosted by CBS. Is this gonna get me fucking demonetized? Better not. I'm trying to play RuneScape here. No, there's no way it's gonna get me demonetized. Actually, let me see how Destiny's covering it.
Tonight, with just over a month to go until Election Day, the first and only meeting between the two men who hope to become Vice President of the United States. Democrat J.D. Vance of Ohio.
Okay, Destiny had no filters over it, so I'm sure it's fine.
Election cycle and voting is already underway in 20 states. CBS News polling shows this remains a race either presidential candidate could win. The CBS News vice presidential debate starts now.
Fight for every single vote, and we're going to take this country back.
And we are ready to continue to build the future together.
Super Combats are 16K? That's so
with
fucked
President
up.
Donald J. Trump's leadership.
You know what's at the end of this little journey? Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States.
This is a CBS News special, live from CBS News headquarters in New York. America Decides, the vice presidential debate.
Good evening, I'm Nora O'Donnell, and thank you for joining us for tonight's CBS News Vice Presidential Debate. We want to welcome our viewers on CBS, on other networks here in the U.S. and around the world. We have a consequential night ahead, and our focus is the issues that matter to you, the voter. Let's introduce the candidates. Minnesota's Democratic Governor Tim Walz and Ohio's Republican Senator J.D. Vance, tonight meeting for the first time.
I'm Margaret Brennan. In order to have a thoughtful and civil debate, these are the rules that both campaigns have agreed to. Questions will be directed at one candidate, who will have 2 minutes to respond. The other candidate will be allowed 2 minutes for rebuttal. Then each candidate will get another minute to make further points, with an additional 1 minute each at the discretion of the moderator. The primary role of the moderators is to facilitate the debate between the candidates, enforce the rules, and provide the candidates with the opportunity to fact-check claims made by each other.
CBS News reserves the right to mute the candidates' microphones to maintain decorum. We have not shared the questions or topics with the campaigns. The stage is set. Governor, Senator, thank you for joining us. Let's get started. Tonight, our country is facing several unfolding crises. The Middle East is on the brink of war. Americans are suffering from the catastrophic impact of Hurricane Helene. And now a labor strike as 25,000 dock workers from Maine to Texas are picketing. We're going to begin tonight with the Middle East. Margaret.
Thank you, Nora. Earlier today, Iran launched its largest attack yet on Israel, but that attack failed, thanks to joint U.S. and Israeli defensive action. President Biden has deployed more than 40,000 U.S. military personnel and assets to that region over the past year to try to prevent a regional war. Iran is weakened, but the U.S. still considers it the largest state sponsor of terrorism in the world, and it has drastically reduced the time it would take to develop a nuclear weapon. It is down now to 1 or 2 weeks' time. Governor Walz, if you were the final voice in the Situation Room, would you support or oppose a preemptive strike by Israel on Iran? You have 2 minutes.
Well, thank you, and thank you for those joining at home tonight. Let's keep in mind where this started. October 7th, Hamas terrorists massacred over 1,400 Israelis and took prisoners. Israel's ability to be able to defend itself is absolutely fundamental. Getting its hostages back, fundamental, and ending the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. But the expansion of Israel and its proxies is an absolute fundamental necessity for the United States to have the steady leadership there. You saw it experienced today, where along with our Israeli partners and our coalition, able to stop the incoming attack. But what's fundamental here is that steady leadership is going to matter. It's clear, and the world saw it on that debate stage a few weeks ago.
They're both pro-Israel. What are they going to fucking? Why was it the opening question?
Crowd sizes is not what we need in this moment. But it's not just that. It's those that were closest to Donald Trump that understand how dangerous he is when the world is this dangerous. His chief of staff, John Kelly, said that he was the most flawed human being he'd ever met. And both of his secretaries of defense and his national security advisors said he should be nowhere near the White House. Now, the person closest to them, Donald Trump, said he's unfit for the highest office. That was Senator Vance. What we've seen out of Vice President Harris is we've seen steady leadership. We've seen a calmness that is able to draw on the coalitions to bring them together. Understanding that our allies matter. When our allies see Donald Trump turn towards Vladimir Putin, turn towards North Korea, when we start to see that type of fickleness around holding the coalitions together, we will stay committed. And as the Vice President said today we will protect our forces and our allied forces, and there will be consequences.
Governor, your time is up. Senator Vance, the same question. Would you support or oppose a preemptive strike by Israel on Iran? You have 2 minutes.
So, Margaret, I want to answer the question. First of all, thanks, Governor. Thanks to CBS for hosting the debate. And thanks, most importantly, to the American people who are watching this evening and caring enough about this country to pay attention to this vice presidential debate. I want to answer the question, but I want to actually give an introduction to myself a little bit, because I recognize a lot of Americans don't know who either one of us are. I was raised in a working-class family. My mother required food assistance for periods of her life. My grandmother required Social Security help to raise me, and she raised me in part because my own mother struggled with addiction for a big chunk of my early life. I went to college on the GI Bill after I enlisted in the Marine Corps and served in Iraq. And so I stand here asking to be your vice president with extraordinary gratitude for this country, for the American dream that made it possible for me to live my dreams. And most importantly, I know that a lot of you are worried about the chaos in the world and the feeling that the American dream is unattainable. I want to try to convince you tonight over the next 90 minutes that if we get better leadership in the White House, if we get Donald Trump back in the White House, the American dream is going to be attainable once again. Now, to answer this particular question, we have to remember that as much as Governor Walz just accused Donald Trump of being an agent of chaos, Donald Trump actually delivered stability in the world, and he did it by establishing effective deterrence. People were afraid of stepping out of line. Iran, which launched this attack, has received over $100 billion in unfrozen assets thanks to the Kamala Harris administration. What do they use that money for? They use it to buy weapons that they're now launching against our allies, and God forbid, potentially launching against the United States as well. Donald Trump recognized that for people to fear the United States, you needed peace through strength. They needed to recognize that if they got out of line, the United States global leadership would put stability and peace back in the world.
Now, you asked about a preemptive strike, Margaret, and I want to answer the question. Look, it is up to Israel what they think they need to do to keep their country safe, and we should support our allies wherever they are when they're fighting the bad guys. I think that's the right approach to take with the Israel question.
Thank you, Senator. Governor Walz, do you care to respond to any of the allegations?
Well, look, Donald Trump was in office. We'll sometimes hear a revisionist history, but when Donald Trump was in office, it was Donald Trump who we had a coalition of nations that had boxed Iran's nuclear program in, the inability to advance it. Donald Trump pulled that program and put nothing else in its place. So Iran is closer to a nuclear weapon than they were before because of Donald Trump's fickle leadership. And when Iran shot down an American aircraft in international airspace, Donald Trump tweeted, because that's the standard diplomacy of Donald Trump. And when Iranian missiles did fall near U.S. troops and they received traumatic brain injuries, Donald Trump wrote it off as headaches. Look, our allies understand that Donald Trump is fickle. He will go to whoever has the most flattery or where it makes sense to him. Steady leadership like you witnessed today, like you witnessed in April. Both Iranian attacks were repelled. Our coalition is strong, and we need the steady leadership that Kamala Harris is providing.
Senator Vance, the U.S. did have a diplomatic deal with Iran to temporarily pause parts of its nuclear program, and President Trump did exit that deal. He recently said, just 5 days ago, the U.S. must now make a diplomatic deal with Iran because the consequences are impossible. Did he make a mistake? You have 1 minute.
Well, first of all, Margaret, diplomacy is not a dirty word, but I think that's something that Governor Walz just said is quite extraordinary. You yourself just said Iran is as close to a nuclear weapon today as they have ever been. And Governor Walz, you blame Donald Trump. Who has been the vice president for the last 3.5 years? And the answer is your running mate, not mine. Donald Trump consistently made the world more secure. Now, we talk about what the sequence of events that led us to where we are right now, and you can't ignore October the 7th, which I appreciate Governor Walz bringing up. But when did Iran and Hamas and their proxies attack Israel? It was during the administration of Kamala Harris. So Governor Walz can criticize Donald Trump's tweets, but effective, smart diplomacy and peace through strength is how you bring stability back to a very broken world. Donald Trump has already done it once before. Ask yourself at home, when was the last time, I'm 40 years old, when was the last time that an American president didn't have a major conflict break out? The only answer is during the 4 years that Donald Trump was president.
Gentlemen, we have a lot to get to. Nora?
Margaret, thank you.
Look, I would have voted Trump in
The
2016 if
storm
I was
could become
American.
One of the deadliest on
I'm
record.
yapping. I'm a Canadian yapper here.
160 people
I'd fucking
are
Kamala
dead
has way
and
more of a
hundreds
fucking
more
policy
are
position
missing.
than fucking
Scientists say
Trump
climate
does.
change makes these
Way
hurricanes larger, stronger, and more deadly because of the historic rainfall. Senator Vance, according to CBS News polling, 7 in 10 Americans and more than 60% of Republicans under the age of 45 favor the U.S. taking steps to try and reduce climate change. Senator, what responsibility would the Trump administration have to try and reduce the impact of climate change? I'll give you 2 minutes.
Sure. So first of all, let's start with the hurricane, because it's an unbelievable, unspeakable human tragedy. I just saw today, actually, a photograph of 2 grandparents on a roof with a 6-year-old child, and it was the last photograph ever taken of them because the roof collapsed and those innocent people lost their lives. And I'm sure Governor Walz joins me in saying our hearts go out to those innocent people, our prayers go out to them, and we want as robust and aggressive as a federal response as we can get to save as many lives as possible, and then, of course, afterwards, to help the people in those communities rebuild. I mean, these are communities that I love. Some of them I know very personally in Appalachia, all across the Southeast. They need their government to do their job, and I commit that when Donald Trump is president 100%. Again, the government will put the citizens of this country first when they suffer from a disaster. Now, Nora, you asked about climate change. I think this is a very important issue. Look, a lot of people are justifiably worried about all these crazy weather patterns. I think it's important for us, first of all, to say Donald Trump and I support clean air, clean water. We want the environment to be cleaner and safer. But one of the things that I've noticed some of our Democratic friends talking a lot about is a concern about carbon emissions, this idea that carbon emissions drives all of the climate change. Well, let's just say that's true, just for the sake of argument, so we're not arguing about weird science. Let's just say that's true. Well, if you believe that, what would you want to do? The answer is that you'd want to reshore as much American manufacturing as possible, and you'd want to produce as much energy as possible in the United States States of America because we're the cleanest economy in the entire world. What have Kamala Harris's policies actually led to? More energy production in China, more manufacturing overseas, more doing business in some of the dirtiest parts of the entire world. And when I say that, I mean the amount of carbon emissions they're doing per unit of economic output. So if we actually care about getting cleaner air and cleaner water, the best thing to do is to double down and invest in American workers and the American people. And unfortunately, Kamala Harris has done exactly the opposite.
Governor Walz, you have 2 minutes to respond.
Well, we got close to an agreement because all those things are happening. Look, first of all, it is a horrific tragedy with this hurricane, and my heart goes out to the folks that are down there.
This is already
in contact with the governors.
10 times as interesting as the Kamala Trump
Council
debate.
of Governors. As we work together on these emergency managements, governors no partisanship. They work together. So all of the governors and the emergency responders are on the ground. Those happen on the front end. The federal government comes in, makes sure they're there that we recover. But we're still in that phase where we need to make sure that they're staying there, staying focused. Now, look, coming back to the climate change issue, there's no doubt this thing roared onto the scene faster and stronger than anything we've seen. Senator Vance has said that there's a climate problem in the past. Donald Trump called it a hoax and then joked that these things would make more beachfront property to be able to invest in. What we've seen out of the Harris administration now, the Biden-Harris administration, is we've seen this investment. We've seen massive investments, the biggest in global history that we've seen in the Inflation Reduction Act, has created jobs all across the country. 2,000 in Jeffersonville, Ohio, taking the EV technology that we invented and making it here. 200,000 jobs across the country. The largest solar manufacturing plant in North America sits in Minnesota. But my farmers know climate change is real. They've seen 500-year droughts, 500-year floods back to back. But what they're doing is adapting, and this has allowed them to tell me, look, I harvest corn, I harvest soybean, and I harvest wind. We are producing more natural gas and more oil at any time than we ever have. We're also producing more clean energy. So the solution for us is to continue to move forward, that climate change is real. Reducing our impact is absolutely critical, but this is not a false choice. You can do that at the same time you're creating the jobs that we're seeing all across the country. That's exactly what this administration has done. We are seeing us becoming an energy superpower for the future, not just the current. And that's what absolutely makes sense. And then we start thinking about how do we mitigate these disasters.
Thank you. Senator, I want to give you an opportunity
Good
to respond
take,
there.
Dan.
The governor
Good fucking
mentioned
take.
that President Trump has called climate change a hoax. Do you agree?
Well, look, what the president has said is that if the Democrats, in particular Kamala Harris and her leadership, if they really believe that climate change is serious, what they would be doing is more manufacturing and more energy production in the United States of America, and that's not what they're doing. So clearly, Kamala Harris herself doesn't believe her own rhetoric on this. If she did, she would actually agree with Donald Trump's energy policies. Now, something Governor Walz said I think is important to touch upon, because when we talk about clean energy, I think that's a slogan that often the Democrats will use here. And I'm talking, of course, about the Democratic leadership. And the real issue is that if you're spending hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars of American taxpayer money on solar panels that are made in China, number one, you're going to make the economy dirtier. We should be making more of those solar panels here in the United States of America. Some of them are, Tim, but a lot of them are being made overseas in China.
I hide it pretty well, but I'm a
Fed.
solar panel.
So if you really want to make the environment cleaner, you've got to invest in more energy production. We haven't built a nuclear facility, I think, one in the past 40 years.
Senator.
Natural gas, we got to invest more in it. Kamala Harris has done the opposite. That's raised energy prices and also meant that we're doing
Senator,
worse by the climate.
your time is up. Governor, would you like to respond?
Well, look, we're producing more natural gas than we ever have. There's no moratorium on that. We're producing more oil. But the folks know, and like I said again, these are not liberal folks. These are not folks that are Green New Deal folks. These are farmers that have been drought one year, massive flooding the next year. They understand that it makes sense. Look, our number one export cannot be topsoil from erosion from these massive storms. We saw it in Minnesota this summer. And thinking about how do we respond to that, we're thinking ahead on this. And what Kamala Harris has been able to do in Minnesota, we're starting to weatherproof some of these things. The infrastructure law that was passed allows us to think about mitigation in the future. How do we make sure that we're protecting by burying our power lines? How do we make sure that we're protecting lakefronts and things that we're seeing more and more of? But to call it a hoax and to take the oil company executives to Mar-a-Lago, say, give me money for my campaign, and I'll let you do whatever you want. We can be smarter about that, and an all-above energy policy is exactly what she's doing, creating those jobs right here.
Governor, your time is up. The overwhelming consensus among scientists is that the Earth's climate is warming at an unprecedented rate. Margaret?
Thank you, Nora. We're going to turn now to immigration. The crisis at the U.S.-Mexico border consistently ranks as one of the top issues for American voters. Senator Vance, your campaign is pledging to carry out the largest mass deportation plan in American history and to use the U.S. military to do so. Could you be more specific about exactly how this will work?
Yes.
For example, would you deport parents who have entered the U.S. illegally and separate them from any of their children who were born on U.S. soil? You have 2 minutes.
So first of all, Margaret, before we talk about deportations, we have to stop the bleeding. We have a historic immigration crisis because Kamala Harris started and said that she wanted to undo all of Donald Trump's border policies. 94 executive orders, suspending deportations, decriminalizing illegal aliens, massively increasing the asylum fraud that exists in our system. That has opened the floodgates. And what it's meant is that a lot of fentanyl is coming into our country. I had a mother who struggled with opioid addiction and has gotten clean. I don't want people who are struggling with addiction to be deprived of their second chance because Kamala Harris let in fentanyl into our communities at record levels. So you've got to stop the bleeding. You've got to re-implement Donald Trump's border policies, build the wall, re-implement deportations. And that gets me to your point, Margaret, about what do we actually do? So we've got 25 million illegal aliens who are here in the country. What do we do with them? I think the first thing that we do is we start with the criminal migrants. About 1 million of those people have committed some form of crime in addition to crossing the border illegally. I think you start with deportations on those folks. And then I think you make it harder for illegal aliens to undercut the wages of American workers. A lot of people will go home if they can't work for less than minimum wage in our own country. And by the way, that'll be really good for our workers who just want to earn a fair wage for doing a good day's work. And the final point, Margaret, is you ask about family separation. Right now in this country, Margaret, we have 320,000 children that the Department of Homeland Security has effectively lost. Some of them have been sex trafficked. Some of them hopefully are at homes with their families. Some of them have been used as drug trafficking mules. The real family separation policy in this country is unfortunately Kamala Harris's wide open southern border. And I'd ask my fellow Americans to remember when she came into office, she said she was going to do this. Real leadership would be saying, you know what, I screwed up. We're going to go back to Donald Trump's border policies. I wish that she would do that. It would be good for all of us.
Governor, do you care to respond to any of those specific allegations, including that the vice president is, quote, letting in fentanyl and using kids as drug mules, among other things regarding children?
The drug mule is not true, but I will say about this, about the fentanyl.
Objectively true.
This is a crisis of this, the opioid crisis. And the good news on this is the last 12 months saw the largest decrease in opioid deaths in our nation's history. 30% decrease in Ohio, but there's still more work to do. But let's go back to this on immigration. Kamala Harris was the Attorney General of the largest state and a border state in California. She's the only person in this race who prosecuted transnational gangs for human trafficking and drug interventions. But look, we all want to solve this. Most of us want to solve this, and that is the United States Congress. That's the Border Patrol agents. That's the Chamber of Commerce. That's most Americans out here. That's why we had the fairest and the toughest bill on immigration that this nation's seen. It was crafted by a conservative senator from Oklahoma, James Lankford. I know him. He's super conservative, but he's a man of principle, wants to get it done. Democrats and Republicans worked on this piece of legislation. The Border Patrol said, this is what we need in here. These are the experts. And the Chamber of Commerce and the Wall Street Journal said, pass this thing. Kamala Harris helped get there. 1,500 new border agents, detection for drugs, DOJ money to speed up these the adjudications on this, just what America wants. But as soon as I was getting ready to pass and actually tackle this, Donald Trump said no, told them to vote against it because it gives him a campaign issue. It gives him to, what would Donald Trump talk about if we actually did some of these things? And they need to be done by the legislature. You can't just do this through the executive branch. So look, we have the options to do this. Donald Trump had 4 years. He had 4 years to do this. And he promised you, America, how easy it would be. I'll build you a big, beautiful wall, and Mexico will pay for it. Less than 2% of that wall got built, and Mexico didn't pay a dime. But here we are again, 9 years after he came down that escalator, dehumanizing people and telling him what he was going to do. As far as the deportation plan, at one point, Senator Vance said it was so unworkable to be laughable. So that's where we're at. Pass the bill, she'll sign it.
Governor, your time is up. Senator, the question was, will you separate parents from their children, even if their kids are U.S. citizens? You have 1 minute.
Margaret, my point is that we already have massive child separations thanks to Kamala Harris's open border. And I didn't accuse Kamala Harris of inviting drug mules. I said that she enabled the Mexican drug cartels to operate freely in this country. And we know that they use children as drug mules, and it is a disgrace, and it has to stop. Look, I think what Tim said just doesn't pass the smell test. For 3 years, Kamala Harris went out bragging that she was going to undo Donald
Tim
Trump's
is looking
border policy.
fucking
She
concerned.
did exactly that. We had a record number of illegal crossings. We had a record number of fentanyl coming into our country. And now that she's running for president, or a few months before, she says that somehow she got religion and cared a lot about a piece of legislation. The only thing that she did when she became the vice president, when she became the appointed border czar, was to undo 94 Donald Trump executive actions that opened the border. This problem is leading to massive problems in the United States of America. Parents who can't afford health care, schools that are overwhelmed. It's got to stop, and it will when Donald Trump is president again.
Senator, your time is up. Governor, what about our CBS News polling, which does show that a majority of Americans, more than 50%, support mass deportations?
Look, we fix this issue with a bill that is necessary, but the issue on this is what happens when you don't want to solve it. You demonize it. And we saw this, and Senator Vance, and it surprises me on this, talking about and saying, I will create stories to bring attention to this. That vilified a large number of people who were here legally in the community of Springfield. The Republican governor said, it's not true, don't do it. There's consequences for this. There's consequences. We could come together. Senator Langford did it. We could come together and solve this if we didn't let Donald Trump continue to make it an issue. And the consequences in Springfield were the governor had to send state law enforcement to escort kindergartners to school. I believe Senator Vance wants to solve this, but by standing with Donald Trump and not working together to find a solution, it becomes a talking point. And when it becomes a talking point like this, we dehumanize and villainize other human beings.
Tim,
Governor, your time is up. Senator, I'll give you 1 minute, but let me just ask you the question first. The governor has made the point, and I think as a sitting lawmaker, you know that Congress controls the purse strings and any funding. So you have said repeatedly that Donald Trump would, through executive action, solve this. Do you disagree that Congress controls the purse strings and would need to support many of the changes that you would actually want to implement? You have 1 minute.
Look, Margaret, first of all, the gross majority of what we need to do at the southern border is just empowering law enforcement to do their job. I've been to the southern border more than our border czar, Kamala Harris, has been, and it's actually heartbreaking because the Border Patrol agents, they just want to be empowered to do their job. Of course, additional resources would help, but most of this is about the president and the vice president empowering our law enforcement to say, if you try to come across the border illegally, you've got to stay in Mexico, you've got to go back through proper channels. Now, Governor Walz brought up the community of Springfield, and he's very worried about the things that I've said in Springfield. Look, in Springfield, Ohio, and in communities all across this country, you've got schools that are overwhelmed, you've got hospitals that are overwhelmed, you've got housing that is totally unaffordable because we brought in millions of illegal immigrants to compete with Americans for scarce homes. The people that I'm most worried about in Springfield, Ohio, are the American citizens who have had their lives destroyed by Kamala Harris's open border. It is a disgrace, Tim, and I actually think, I agree with you. I think you want to solve this problem, but I don't think that Kamala Harris does.
Senator, your time is up. Governor, you have 1 minute to respond.
Yeah, well, it is law enforcement that asked for the bill. They helped craft it. They're the ones that supported it. That's because they know we need to do this. Look, this issue of continuing to
trying to make Tim Walz his friend and then doubt his choice to be vice president.
On housing, we could talk a little bit about Wall Street speculators buying up housing and making them less affordable, but it becomes a blame. Look, this bill also gives the money necessary to adjudicate. I agree. It should not take 7 years for an asylum claim to be done. This bill gets it done in 90 days. Then you start to make a difference in this, and you start to adhere to what we know, American principles. I don't talk about my faith a lot, but Matthew 25:40 talks about, to the least amongst us you do unto me. I think that's true of most Americans. They simply want order to it. This bill does it. It's funded. It's supported by the people who do it, and it lets us keep our dignity about how we treat other people.
Thank you, Governor. And just to clarify for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status, temporary protected status.
Well,
Nora?
but
thank you, Senator. We have so much to get to.
Margaret,
Thank you,
I think it's
Nora.
important
We're
because
going to turn now to the
debate-
economy. Thank
Margaret,
you.
the rules were that
The
you guys
economy,
weren't going to
we're-
fact check, and since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually going on. So there's an application called the CBP One app, where you can go on as an illegal migrant, apply for asylum or apply for parole, and be granted legal status at the wave of a Kamala Harris open border wand. That is not a person coming in, applying for a green card and waiting for 10 years. That
Thank
is
you,
the
Senator.
facilitation of illegal immigration, Margaret, by
Thank
our
you,
own
Senator, for
leadership.
describing the legal
And
process.
Kamala-
We have
Kamala
so much
Harris
to get
opened up
to,
that
Senator.
pathway.
Those
We have
laws
so
have been on
much.
the books since 1990.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The
We
CBP
want
Let them
have-
talk.
has not
Holy
been on
fuck.
the books since 1990. It's something that Kamala Harris created, Margaret.
Gentlemen, the audience can't hear you because your mics are cut. We have so much we want to get to. Thank you for explaining the legal process. Nora?
Thank you, Margaret. The economy is a top concern for voters. Each of your campaigns has released an economic plan, so let's talk about the specifics. Governor Walz, Vice President Harris unveiled a plan that includes billions in tax credits for manufacturing, housing, and a renewed child tax credit. The Wharton School says your proposals will increase the nation's deficit by $1.2 trillion. How would you pay for that without ballooning the deficit? Governor, I'll give you 2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you. And Kamala Harris and I do believe in the middle class because that's where we come from. We both grew up in that. We understand. So those of you out there listening tonight, you're hearing a lot of stuff back and forth, and it's good. It's healthy. That's what this is supposed to happen. You should be listening. How's this going to impact me? The bold forward plan that Kamala Harris put out there is talking about this housing issue. The one thing is there's 3 million new houses proposed under this plan with down payment assistance on the front end to get you in a house. A house is much more than just an asset to be traded somewhere. It's foundational to where you're at. And then making sure that the things you buy every day, whether they be prescription drugs or other things, that there's fairness in that. Look, the $35 insulin is a good thing, but it costs $5 to make insulin. They were charging $800 before this law went into effect. As far as the housing goes, I've seen it in Minnesota. 12% more houses in Minneapolis, prices went down on rent 4%. It's working. And then making sure tax cuts go to the middle class. $6,000 child tax credit, we have one in Minnesota, reduces childhood poverty by 1/3. We save money in the long run, and we do the right thing for families. And then getting businesses off the ground. The law as it stands right now is $5,000 tax credit for small business, increasing that to $50,000. Now, this is a philosophical difference between us. Donald Trump made a promise, and I'll give you this. He kept it. He took folks to Mar-a-Lago. He said, you're rich as hell, I'm going to give you a tax cut. He gave the tax cuts that predominantly went to the top class. What happened there was an $8 trillion increase in the national debt, the largest ever. Now he's proposing a 20% consumption or sales tax on everything we bring in. Everyone agrees, including businesses, it would be destabilizing it, it would increase inflation and potentially lead to a recession. Look, this is simple for you. Where are we going? Kamala Harris has said to do the things she wants to do, we'll just ask the wealthiest to pay their fair share. When you do that, our system works best, more people are participating in it, and folks have the things that they need.
Sigma with the $2.
Senator, I want to give you a moment to respond on that. But
Big
similarly,
Sigma
the Wharton
moment.
School has done an analysis of the Trump plan and says it would increase the nation's deficit by $5.8 trillion. My question is the same for you. How do you pay for all that without ballooning the deficit? I'll give you 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, you're going to hear a lot from Tim Walz this evening, and you just heard it in the answer. A lot of what Kamala Harris proposes to do, and some of it, I'll be honest with you, it even sounds pretty good. Here's what you won't hear, is that Kamala Harris has already done it. Because she's been the vice president for 3.5 years. She had the opportunity to enact all of these great policies, and what she's actually done instead is drive the cost of food higher by 25%, drive the cost of housing higher by about 60%, open the American southern border, and make middle-class life unaffordable for a large number of Americans. If Kamala Harris has such great plans for how to address middle-class problems, then she ought to do them now. Not when asking for a promotion, but in the job the American people gave her 3.5 years ago. And the fact that she isn't tells you a lot about how much you can trust her actual plans. Now, Donald Trump's economic plan is not just a plan, but it's also a record. A lot of those same economists attack Donald Trump's plans, and they have PhDs, but they don't have common sense and they don't have wisdom, because Donald Trump's economic policies delivered the highest take-home pay in a generation in this country, 1.5% inflation, and to boot, peace and security all over the world. So when people say that Donald Trump's economic plan doesn't make sense, I say look at the record. He delivered rising take-home pay for American workers. Now, Tim admirably admits that they want to undo the Trump tax cuts. But if you look at what was so different about Donald Trump's tax cuts, even from previous Republican tax cut plans, is that a lot of those resources went to giving more take-home pay to middle-class and working-class Americans. It was passed in 2017, and you saw an American economic boom unlike we've seen in a generation in this country. That is a record that I'm proud to run on, and we're going to get back to that common sense wisdom so that you can afford to live the American dream again. I know a lot of you are struggling. I know a lot of you are worried about paying the bills. It's going to stop when Donald Trump brings back common sense to this country.
Governor, do you want to respond to that? What has Kamala Harris done for the middle class?
Yeah, well, Kamala Harris's day one was Donald Trump's failure on COVID that led to the collapse of our economy. We were already before COVID in a manufacturing recession, but 10 million people out of work, largest percentage since the Great Depression. 9 million jobs closed on that. That was day one, whether it was the Infrastructure Act or other things we moved. Now, you made a question about experts, said this. I've made a note of this. Economists can't be trusted. Science can't be trusted. National security folks can't be trusted. Look, if you're going to be president, you don't have all the answers. Donald Trump believes he does. My pro tip of the day is this. If you need heart surgery, listen to the people at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, not Donald Trump. And the same thing goes with this. And I ask you out there, teachers, nurses, truck drivers, or whatever, how is it fair that you're paying your taxes every year and Donald Trump hasn't paid any federal tax in the last 15 years, and the last year as president? That's what's wrong with the system. There's a way around it, and he's bragged about that. We're just asking for fairness in it, and that's all you want.
You have a minute.
Governor, you say trust the experts. But those same experts for 40 years said that if we shipped our manufacturing base off to China, we'd get cheaper goods. They lied about that. They said if we shipped our industrial base off to other countries, to Mexico and elsewhere, it would make the middle class stronger. They were wrong about that. They were wrong about the idea that if we made America less self-reliant, less productive in our own nation, that it would somehow make us better off, and they were wrong about it. And for the first time in a generation, Donald Trump had the wisdom and the courage to say to that bipartisan consensus, we're not doing it anymore. We're bringing American manufacturing back. We're unleashing American energy. We're going to make more of our own stuff. And this isn't just an economic issue. I mean, I've got 3 beautiful little kids at home, 7, 4, and 2, and I love them very much, and I hope they're in bed right now. But look, so many of the drugs, the pharmaceuticals that we put in the bodies of our children are manufactured by nations that hate us. This has to stop, and we're not going to stop it by listening to experts. We're going to stop it by listening to common sense wisdom, which is what Donald Trump governed on.
Senator, your time is up. Governor Walz, can you address that? I mean, voters say they trust Donald Trump on the economy more. Why?
Well, if you're listening tonight and you want billionaires to get tax cuts, you heard what the numbers were. Look, I'm a union guy on this. I'm not a guy who wanted to ship things overseas, but I understand that, look, we produce soybeans and corn. We need to have fair trading partners. That's something that we believe in. I think the thing that most concerns me on this is Donald Trump was the guy who created the largest trade deficit in American history with China. So the rhetoric is good. Much of what the senator said right there, I'm in agreement with him on this. I watched it happen too. I watched it to my communities, and we talked about that. But we had people undercutting the right to collectively bargain. We had right to work states made it more difficult. We had companies that were willing to ship it over, and we saw people profit. Folks that are venture capital in some cases, putting money into companies that were overseas. We're in agreement that we bring those home. The issue is Donald Trump is talking about it. Kamala Harris has a record, 250,000 more manufacturing jobs just out of the IRA.
May I respond to that?
Yes.
So appreciate that. So if you notice, what Governor Walz just did is he said, first of all, Donald Trump has to listen to the experts. And then when he acknowledged that the experts screwed up, he said, well, Donald Trump didn't do nearly as good of a job as the statistics
that's a
show
gross
that
generalization.
he did. So what Tim Walz is doing, and I honestly, Tim, I think you got a tough job here because you've got to play whack-a-mole. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver rising take-home pay, which of course he did. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver lower inflation, which of course he did. And then you've simultaneously got to defend Kamala Harris's atrocious economic record, which has made gas, groceries, and housing unaffordable for American citizens. I was raised by a woman who would sometimes go into medical debt so that she could put food on the table in our household. I know what it's like to not be able to afford the things that you need to afford. We can do so much better. To all of you watching, we can get back to an America that's affordable again. We just got to get back to common sense economic principles.
I hope we have a conversation on health care then.
Senator, Governor.
Please.
Thank you. Margaret?
We have a lot to get to ahead, gentlemen, on many topics. But right now, I want to talk about personal qualifications. The vice president is often the last voice the president hears before making consequential decisions. We want to ask you about your leadership qualities. Governor Walz, you said you were in Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring of 1989. But Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year.
Ooh.
Can you explain that discrepancy? You have 2
Yeah,
minutes.
well, and to the folks out there who didn't get at the top of this, look, I grew up in small rural Nebraska,
the fuck up. Shut
town
the
of
fuck up.
400, town that you rode your bike with your buddies till the streetlights come on, and I'm proud of that service. I joined the National Guard at 17, worked on family farms, and then I used the GI Bill to become a teacher, passionate about it, a young teacher. My first year out, I got the opportunity in the summer of '89 to travel to China. 35 years ago, be able to do that. I came back home and then started a program to take young people there. We would take basketball teams.
Oh my
we'd
God,
take
answer the fucking
baseball teams,
question.
we would
Dude,
take
it's fucking
dancers,
over.
and we would go back and forth to China. The issue for that was to try and learn. Now look, my community knows who I am.
Oh
They
my
saw where
God.
I was at. Look, I will be the first to tell you, I have poured my heart into my community.
Oh my
I've tried
God.
to do the best I can, but I've not been perfect. And I'm a knucklehead at times, but it's always been about that. Those same people elected me to Congress for 12 years. And in Congress, I was one of the most bipartisan people, working on things like farm bills that we got done, working on veterans benefits. And then the people of Minnesota were able to elect me to governor twice. So look, my commitment has been from the beginning to make sure that I'm there for the people, to make sure that I get this right. I will say more than anything, many times I will talk a lot, I will get caught up in the rhetoric, but being there, the impact it made, the difference it made in my life, I learned a lot about China. I hear the critiques of this. I would make the case that Donald Trump should have come on one of those trips with us. I guarantee you he wouldn't be praising Xi Jinping about COVID, and I guarantee you he wouldn't start a trade war that he ends up losing. So this is about trying to understand the world. It's about trying to do the best you can for your community, and then it's putting yourself out there and letting your folks understand what it is. My commitment, whether it be through teaching, which I was good at, or whether it was being a good soldier or was being a good member of Congress, those are the things that I think are the values that people care about.
Governor, just to follow up on that, the question was, can you explain the discrepancy?
All I said on this was I got there that summer and misspoke on this. So I will just, that's what I've said. So I was in Hong Kong and China during the democracy protests went in. And from that, I learned a lot of what needed to be in governance.
Thank you, Governor. Senator Vance,
God, that was
in
hard to fucking listen
2016,
to.
you called your running mate Donald Trump unfit for the nation's highest office, and you said he could be America's Hitler. I know you've been asked many times, and you've said you regret those comments and explained you then voted for Donald Trump in 2020. But the Washington Post reported new messages last week in which you also disparaged Trump's economic record while he was president, writing to someone in 2020, quote, Trump thoroughly failed to deliver his economic populism. You're now his running mate, and you've shifted many of your policy stances to align with his. If you become vice president, why should Americans trust that you will give Donald Trump the advice he needs to hear and not just the advice he wants to hear? You have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, Margaret, because I've always been open. And sometimes, of course, I've disagreed with the president, but I've also been extremely open about the fact that I was wrong about Donald Trump. I was wrong, first of all, because I believed some of the media stories that turned out to be dishonest fabrications of his record. But most importantly, Donald Trump delivered for the American people. Rising wages, rising take-home pay, an economy that worked for normal Americans, a secure southern border, a lot of things, frankly, that I didn't think he'd be able to deliver on. And yeah, when you screw up, when you misspeak, when you get something wrong and you change your mind, you ought to be honest with the American people about it. It's one of the reasons, Margaret, why I've done so many interviews is because I think it's important to actually explain to the American people where I come down on the issues and what changed. Now, you pointed out to messages from 2020. Margaret, I've been extremely consistent that I think there were a lot of things that we could have done better in the Trump administration the first round if Congress was doing its job. I strongly believe, and I've been a United States Senator, that Congress is not just a high-class debating society. It's not just a forum for senators and congressmen to whine about problems. It's a forum to govern. So there were a lot of things on the border, on tariffs, for example, where I think that we could have done so much more if the Republican Congress and the Democrats in Congress had been a little bit better about how they govern the country. They were so obsessed with impeaching Donald Trump, they couldn't actually govern. And I want to talk about this tariff issue in particular, Margaret, because Tim just accused this of being a national sales tax.
My task was done. I didn't even notice my task was done.
You're probably surprised to hear me praising Joe Biden, but the one thing that Joe Biden did is he continued some of the Trump tariffs that protected American manufacturing jobs. And it's the one issue, the most pro-worker part of the Biden administration, it's the one issue where Kamala Harris has run away from Joe Biden's record. Think about this. If you're trying to employ slave laborers in China at $3 a day, you're going to do that and undercut the wages of American workers unless our country stands up for itself and says, you're not accessing our markets unless you're paying middle-class Americans a fair wage.
Senator, your time is up. Nora?
Thank you. Now to the issue of reproductive rights. Governor Walz, after Roe versus Wade was overturned, you signed a bill into law that made Minnesota one of the least restrictive states in the nation when it comes to abortion. Former President Trump said in the last debate that you believe abortion, quote, in the 9th month is absolutely fine. Yes or no? Is that what you support? I'll give you 2 minutes.
That's not what the bill says, but look, this issue is what's on everyone's mind. Donald Trump put this all into motion. He brags about how great it was that he put the judges in and overturned Roe versus Wade, 52 years of personal autonomy. And then he tells us, oh, we send it to the states. It's a beautiful thing. Amanda Zaworski would disagree with you on it's a beautiful thing. A young bride in Texas waiting for their child at 18 weeks. She has a complication, a tear in the membrane. She needs to go in. The medical care at that point needs to be decided by the doctor. And that would have been an abortion. But in Texas, that would have put them in legal jeopardy. She went home, got sepsis, nearly dies, and now she may have difficulty having children. Or in Kentucky, Hadley Duvall, a 12-year-old child raped and impregnated by her stepfather. Those are horrific. Now, when God asked about that, Senator Vance said 2 wrongs don't make a right. There is no right in this. So in Minnesota, what we did was restore Roe versus Wade. We made sure that we put women in charge of their health care. But look, this is not where, if you don't know Amanda or a Hadley, you soon will. Their Project 2025 is going to have a registry of pregnancies. It's going to make it more difficult, if not impossible, to get contraception and limit access, if not eliminate access to infertility treatments. For so many of you out there listening, me included, infertility treatments are why I have a child. That's nobody else's business, but those things are being proposed. And the catch-all on this is, well, the states will decide what's right for Texas might not be right for Washington. That's not how this works. This is basic human right. We have seen maternal mortality skyrocket in Texas, outpacing many other countries in the world. This is about health care. In Minnesota, we are ranked first in health care for a reason. We trust women. We trust doctors.
Senator, do you want to respond to the governor's claim? Will you create a federal pregnancy monitoring agency?
No, Nora, certainly we won't. And I want to talk about this issue because I know a lot of Americans care about it, and I know a lot of Americans don't agree with everything that I've ever said on this topic. And, you know, I grew up in a working class family in a neighborhood where I knew a lot of young women who had unplanned pregnancies and decided to terminate those pregnancies because they feel like they didn't have any other options. And, you know, one of them is actually very dear to me. And I know she's watching tonight, and I love you. And she told me something a couple years ago that she felt like if she hadn't had that abortion, that it would have destroyed her life because she was in an abusive relationship. And I think that what I take from that as a Republican who proudly wants to protect innocent life in this country, who proudly wants to protect the vulnerable, is that my party, we've got to do so much better of a job at earning the American people's trust back on this issue where they frankly just don't trust us. And I think that's one of the things that Donald Trump and I are endeavoring to do. I want us as a Republican Party to be pro-family in the fullest sense of the word. I want us to support fertility treatments. I want us to make it easier for moms to afford to have babies. I want it to make it easier for young families to afford a home so they can afford a place to raise that family. And I think there's so much that we can do on the public policy front just to give women more options. Now, of course, Donald Trump has been very clear that on the abortion policy specifically, that we have a big country and it's diverse. And California has a different viewpoint on this than Georgia. Georgia has a different viewpoint from Arizona. And the proper way to handle this, as messy as democracy sometimes is to let voters make these decisions, let the individual states make their abortion policy. And I think that's what makes the most sense in a very big, a very diverse, and let's be honest, sometimes a very, very messy and divided country.
Governor, would you like to respond and also answer the question about restrictions?
Yeah, well, the question got asked and Donald Trump made the accusation that wasn't true about Minnesota. Well, let me tell you about this idea that there's diverse states. There's a young woman named Amber Thurman. She happened to be in Georgia, a restrictive state. Because of that, she had to travel a long distance to North Carolina to try and get her care. Amber Thurman died in that journey back and forth. The fact of the matter is, how can we as a nation say that your life and your rights, as basic as the right to control your own body, is determined on geography? There's a very real chance had Amber Thurman lived in Minnesota, she would be alive today. That's why the restoration of Roe versus Wade. When you listen to Vice President Harris talk about this subject and you hear me talk about it, you hear us talking exactly the same. Donald Trump is trying to figure out how to get the political right of this. I agree with a lot of what Senator Vance said about what's happening. His running mate, though, does not, and that's the problem.
Governor, your time is up. Senator, let me ask you about that. He mentioned, it was, I think, referring to a national ban. In the past, you have supported a federal ban on abortion after 15 weeks. In fact, you said if someone can't support legislation like that, quote, you are making the United States the most barbaric pro-abortion regime anywhere in the entire world. My question is, why have you changed your position?
Well, Nora, first of all, I never supported a national ban. I did when I was running for Senate in 2022 talk about setting some minimum national standard. For example, we have a partial birth abortion ban in place in this country at the federal level. I don't think anybody's trying to get rid of that, or at least I hope not, though I know that Democrats have taken a very radical pro-abortion stance. But Nora, you know, one of the things that changed is in the state of Ohio, we had a referendum in 2023, and the people of Ohio voted overwhelmingly, by the way, against my position. And I think that what I learned from that, Nora, is that we've got to do a better job at winning back people's trust. So many young women would love to have families. So many young women also see an unplanned pregnancy as something that's going to destroy their livelihood, destroy their education, destroy their relationships. And we have got to earn people's trust back. And that's why Donald Trump and I are committed to pursuing pro-family policies, making child care more accessible, making fertility treatments more accessible, because we've got to do a better job at that. And that's what real leadership is.
Governor, your response.
I'm going to respond on the pro-abortion piece of that. No, we're not. We're pro-women. We're pro-freedom to make your own choice. We know what the implications are to not be that. Women having miscarriages, women not getting the care, physicians feeling like they may be prosecuted for providing that care. And as far as making sure that we're educating our children and giving them options, Minnesota's a state with one of the lowest teen pregnancy rates. We understand that too. We know that the options need to be available, and we make that true. We also make it, we're a top 3 state for the best place to raise children. But these two things, to try and say that we're pro-children, but we don't like this, or you guys are pro-abortion, that's not the case at all. We are pro freedoms for women to make their choices, and we're going, and Kamala Harris is making the case, to make options for children more affordable, a $6,000 child tax credit, but we're not going to base that on the backs of making someone like Amber Thurman drive 600 miles to try and get health care.
Am I retarded?
May I respond to that? First of all, Governor, I agree with you.
Am I
Amber
actually
Thurman
fucking
should
dumb?
still be alive, and there are a lot of people who should still be alive, and I certainly wish that she was. And maybe you're free to disagree with me on this and explain this to me, but as I read the Minnesota law that you signed into law, the statute that you signed into law, it says that a doctor who presides over an abortion where the baby survives, the doctor is under no obligation to provide life-saving care to a baby who survives a botched late-term abortion. That is, I think,
That's
whether
not
you're
true.
pro-choice or
That's not how the law
pro-abortion,
is.
that is fundamentally barbaric. And that's why I use that word, Nora, is because some of what we've seen, do you want to force Catholic hospitals to perform abortions against their will? Because Kamala Harris has supported suing Catholic nuns to violate their freedom of conscience. We can be a big and diverse country where we respect people's freedom of conscience and make the country more pro-baby and pro-family. But please.
Yes, Governor, please respond.
Look, this is one where there's always something there. This is a very simple proposition. These are women's decisions to make about their healthcare decisions, and the physicians who know best when they need to do this. Trying to distort the way a law is written to try and make a point, that's not it at all.
What was I wrong
This
about,
was-
Governor? Please tell me, what was I wrong
That is
about?
not the way the law is written. Look, I've given
But
this,
how?
I've given this advice on a lot of things, that getting involved, getting engaged, that's been misread, and it was fact-checked at the last debate. But the point on this is there's a continuation of these guys to try and tell women or to get involved. I use this line on this, just mind your own business on this. Things worked best when Roe versus Wade was in place.
He's
When
getting
we do a
mogged.
restoration of Roe, that works best. That doesn't preclude us from increasing funding for children. It doesn't increase us from making sure that once that child's born, like in Minnesota, they get meals. They get early childhood education. They get health care.
So those people should now
hiding behind we're going to do all these other things when you're not proposing them in your...
I'm armed.
Yeah, we are.
Something will happen.
We don't.
Okay.
We don't give a frick about. We don't give a frick about gun safety here, too. That's the real gun. Oh, he just launched. But like, I just want to. He launched a clip.
The Finland driving guy.
The Finland driving guy.
The Satsuma
The
guy.
Satsuma guy. Yeah.
Oh, good. You came in at a great time, actually.
Awesome.
They just went on a yap break.
Hell yeah, a yapping break, an unimportant yapping break. Can you replay some good parts for us?
There's Tim Walz
You're
is
like launching shells everywhere. We're gonna have to clean that up.
That's unfortunate.
Tim Walz had this expression a lot. Well, Vance was talking. He was like the whole time. So he's getting kind of cooked. But there's no good parts though. It's interesting from like a policy perspective. They're going into like their specific
Oh, that's cool.
stances a lot.
Wait, in what way was he getting cooked?
Not cooked, but like definitely a little definitely a little cooked. That's a good gun. I got a stream like demonetized and like unable to upload.
Oh really?
Because I sat with a gun like in my mouth the whole time.
Oh.
This looks really real when I do that. It's okay. It's
a
just
fake.
It's just a fake gun.
Gun. Obviously. We're Canadians. We're Canadians and Australians here, okay? We're not gonna have guns.
Yeah, we don't have real weapons.
We're gonna have real weapons. I brought a fake gun on Destiny, and I realized they would just kill me if I brought it out. So.
Did you actually?
No.
Yeah, Destiny and Dan stay strapped.
They are strapped all the time.
Destiny, I'll preface this by saying it was consensual, and he was very big about gun safety, but had to point his shotgun at me like 10 times. Like the shotgun that's behind him on the wall all the time, he pointed at my face like probably 10 different times while we were filming stuff.
But like, you gotta be safe with firearms. But like, I just gotta show you, like, you know.
Well, it was the first thing we had to film. You'll see it in like when Rowan drops the thing we were doing. I don't want to reveal too much. You'll see shots where there's like a gun pointed at the camera. I'm behind the camera the whole time.
It's a casual, just a casual Archad stream with Drag and Martin Cedo Pants where we're talking about Destiny. And if I say those words enough, the SEO will go crazy.
Yeah, like the stream for Destiny.
Or like the stream if you dislike Destiny.
Like the stream if you like or dislike Destiny.
I feel like those are the only two opinions you can have.
Like the stream if you don't know you don't think about Destiny very much.
Yeah, like the stream if you don't know who Destiny is. Look, what is this? Randy Marsh from South Park is here. What is this cultural reference? Doesn't know.
Probably for the best.
He doesn't know who Destiny is?
Yeah, knowing who Destiny is isn't improving your life in any way.
Yeah, that's probably for the best.
Look at these fucking people.
Wait. So Mark doesn't know anything about JD Vance or Tim Walz.
Yeah.
You should give him the rundown. No, you're just gonna tab really quickly between two of your stream settings.
So JD Vance is Trump's VP pick.
Yeah.
And Tim Walz is Kamala's VP pick.
That's all I know about.
Okay. JD Vance is pretty good, and they're actually like both of them aren't real. Well, Tim Walz isn't very like a real person. I think Tim Walz is a poor pick. He's like kind of likable, but he's also lied a lot about his rank in the military and where he's been during certain things. Actually, they call him out in this. This is like his worst moment because he claims to have been in Hong Kong during the Tiananmen Square. One sec. Yeah. Shut the fuck up. I don't give a shut.
You need to practice proper gun safety.
Shut the. It's genuinely disgusting you did that. Shut the fuck up. We know. That was talked about. That was discussed. The whole time. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Stare into the gun directly.
Stare into the gun directly.
Really wide.
So. Anyway, he claims to have been in Hong Kong, and then they're like, "We fact checked." The moderators were like, "We fact checked you, and you were in Hong Kong." And then he just like, "Oh, I was born in a small American town, and I was working in a very working class family." And like he just doesn't answer. They're like, "But what? Answer the question." He's like, "Sometimes you make a mistake." And he was like bumbling the whole time.
Lame. I was so pro Tim. Lame.
JD Vance is a much better speaker. He's very eloquent.
I was pro Tim Walz as the VP pick because he was the furthest left candidate they could have
I
picked.
see Greg got the polycule going.
There are no women here, and I am heterosexual. But yeah, this is my polycule. Welcome to my polycule. Hi.
I'm gonna make this more blue. Oh, how did I have this? I had it down.
Down.
I had it down and diffused.
I can shed a light on some things here.
Oh yeah.
Like this?
Oh, this is good. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah. There we go. Is drag a bottom?
Homosexual.
Homo romance is not haram.
Homo romance is absolutely haram.
Is it haram?
Wait, no, it's halal. Yeah, no, it isn't
It's
haram.
halal.
It isn't haram.
It's halal.
It's halal. Yeah.
Are you halal or haram?
I'm halal maxing.
You're halal maxing. Let's make that a little. Let's make that a
Make a
little.
little poll?
Yeah. Where's the poll?
Yeah.
Engage with your audience.
YouTube streaming UI.
Do you stream on YouTube or Twitch?
I do both.
At the same time?
No. But I don't know, I feel like I've done quite a bit of both. So what a pretty good understanding of both.
What do you prefer?
I get a lot more viewers on YouTube. But Twitch has generally better viewers.
Well, they're still at war with Hezbollah. The Lebanese military hasn't done anything as of yet, so I wouldn't think about that too much yet. I think it's getting blown. Well, it's not getting blown out of proportion, but I just think it's like this is not analogous to a full-scale war. That is, if they were like at war with the Lebanese military doing a ground invasion on Beirut.
I am haram because I am a woman.
We got some. I don't know what my chat aligns with.
I voted haram.
You voted haram?
I had to whip out the phone to vote.
That's good.
You voted, right?
Oh, I didn't vote.
Yeah, you gotta exercise your.
I gotta. Yeah.
I didn't mean to end the poll. Fuck.
Oh, you. Oh.
I can't vote now.
Wow. You have no right to complain about the answer.
Yeah.
What's halal, my goyim? It's halal. Halal is good. What does halal mean? What is the definition of it?
So like halal is kind of like kosher, but just for Muslims.
Yeah. It's
so like no pork, and like I don't know if they do the whole animal drain its blood thing to kill it.
But is halal in a dichotomy with haram? Are they just like
It's like
things are
kosher
either
or not kosher,
It's
halal or
Well,
haram.
I think you could have a thing that is neither halal nor haram.
I feel like
think haram is like bad, and halal is like good.
This guy says
But you can have,
allowed,
like, a neutral, right?
allowed/disallowed.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take it.
No, but like
I'll believe my chatter.
Let's shed some light on this situation.
No, thank you. Hey, that's not proper gun safety, Brogan.
Yeah, come on.
That's not loaded, right?
Yeah, it's loaded. I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna
pull the slide back so you can see that there's a.
I'm gonna kill the chat.
Oh my god.
That's the end stream.
Genuinely though, don't get allegations here. He opened to he's like was freaking out. He was like, I would never fucking do this. I would never do this in any circumstance.
I would never point a gun right at my head.
I would never point a gun at anybody. But look, and he's like, he had to do it, and then he like opened he like cracked it open. He's like, do you see the light? Do you see the fucking light? There's no bullet in there. And then he showed everyone in the room. He was like crazy, and then he didn't have his finger on the trigger.
Yeah.
He was like very.
No, always trigger discipline.
Finger off the trigger. I'll put it at your head. But
He had great trigger discipline. It's also a very nice shotgun.
On the other hand, though, is it true that they were strapped at the pod?
They said they were.
Like
they might have actually not been. I'm not sure.
I feel like that would like go against that.
They can be.
Well, no, I know they can, but
It's
like
Florida.
from a gun safety standpoint, like you never, like who sits down? Yeah,
You're-
I don't know.
Yeah, you're allowed to.
No, you're allowed.
But that's not even like gun safety. That's just like, teach their own. Do you want to sit strapped to the podcast?
Oh shit! I'm fucking.
There's
causing problems right now.
Oh shit, we're out of bullets.
Okay, your mind's so
I'm out of
gross.
bullets.
Let me hit your purple vape.
Yeah, the infantile vape.
I gotta stop doing this to you because I've had that, and then whenever Greg takes it from me, I feel like a little bit of like blood surge through my body.
What?
It's just like anger.
No, dude. I was always the most generous in uni. Like I was trying to get people nicotine addictions. I was like fucking Marlboro man out here. The jewel.
Debate's not over yet. They're just on a yap. They're on a yap sesh. Look at that guy. Yap sesh. Don't worry about it.
Actually, though.
You guys look so fucked up with the high contrast without the light on your face. Like if you
Yeah, that's why I was shedding some light on the situation. Hold on, Greg. Let me shed some light on the situation. I need a brighter light than that, so it just like complete white blows it out.
Wait, you have some items for me?
Shit, I put this
some RuneScape.
Yeah, he's gonna give me some items. Kev, give me some items. I want to see what you have to give me. Oh,
is this stream window on this trade?
Are these your collections? There we go.
Oh my god, Dragon Scimitar.
Dragon Scimitar cursor.
Oh wait, a cursor.
Can I have these?
What is it?
13,000. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
13,000?
13,000 milk buckets, 13,000 chocolate bars, 500 blueberry specials, and 5 mil gold.
Yo, you can buy membership with that, can't you?
Yeah, I can. 5 mil GP. I have like a 30 mil bank.
Damn.
I do all right.
Did they legalize real world trading?
Okay. Oh, they sold instantly. What? They sold instantly. 13,000.
You immediately sell as gifts. Damn, it's cold.
Sell these blueberries.
Wait, 2.9 mil?
What did blueberry specials do?
Holy shit.
I'll let those sit on the market. Damn, Kev. Bonds are 13 mil now. That's so fucked up.
Oh, you're almost there to a month.
That's so fucked up, dude. Don't vape. I smoke filterless ciggies because I hate myself. You smoke filterless cigarettes?
That's based.
Yeah, I want to see, Kev. I want to see the sauce. I want to see the sauce. Show me your fucking bank.
Fat fingered, gives it to you.
Show me your fucking bank. Don't nego. Sorry, I just took that from you like it was mine.
Oh. No, that's the thing with vapes. Like once you have one, you forget that others aren't yours. It was so bad for that.
Let's see this bank. Let's see the sauce. Oh, the Pegasians. Oh, the Mystic, the Inquisitors, the Tebow. Damn, you can't even fucking. The Tebow maxes out the trade limit. God fucking damn it. That's so fucked up. Oh, it's still going. The Shadow is 1.5 bill? That's insane. Bro, you're cooked. 10 mil fire runes? It's got 10 mil fire runes.
What's it even? What? Wait.
This is Kevin Hamlin.
Kevin, what's up?
Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot to make that connection.
I was like, Kenneth.
Kevin Hamlin.
Oh my God, though, 10 mil. Aren't they like a few hundred coins?
Oh, sorry. Debate's back on.
Oh, by the way.
That's him.
Let's fucking go.
Those are things that we know in the long run, the appreciated value, the generational wealth that's created from it.
Fuck, I've been meaning to buy a Polaroid.
For example, Minneapolis used to be one
I'm gonna buy one for you.
lowest inflation rates.
Oh.
We've seen a 12%
We need to
increase in
buy the kind that like instant prints stuff.
Yes, I agree.
a state program to
We
make
use
sure
the
that
donation money.
Wait, let
The
me.
donation money from our studio to buy a Polaroid so we can Polaroid our guests.
people with stable housing have their
Just hanging
kids
out.
to be able to
Do a pull up. Do a pull up, Mark.
end up saving our money. And that's the thing that I think we should be able to find some common ground in, but we can't blame immigrants for the only reason. That's not the case that's happening in many cities. The fact of the matter is that we don't have enough naturally affordable housing, but we can make sure that the government's there to help kickstart it, create that base.
Governor, your time is up. Senator Vance, as far as your campaign's position, the promise is to seize federal lands to build homes, remove regulation, provide tax breaks, and cut back on immigration, which you say pushes up prices. Where are you going to build all the new homes you're promising, and what part of any of this plan will provide immediate relief? You have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, Tim just said something that I agree with. We don't want to blame immigrants for higher housing prices, but we do want to blame Kamala Harris for letting in millions of illegal aliens into this country, which does drive up costs, Tim. 25 million illegal aliens competing with Americans for scarce homes is one of the most significant drivers of home prices in the country. It's why we have massive increases in home prices that have happened right alongside massive increases in illegal alien populations under Kamala Harris's leadership. Now, Tim just mentioned a bunch of ideas. Now, some of those ideas I actually think are halfway decent, and some of them I disagree with. But the most important thing here is Kamala Harris is not running as a newcomer to politics. She is the sitting vice president. If she wants to enact all of these policies to make housing more affordable, I invite her to use the office that the American people already gave her, not sit around and campaign and do nothing while Americans find the American dream of homeownership completely unaffordable. Now, you asked, Margaret, what would immediately change the equation for American citizens if you lower energy prices? As Donald Trump says, drill, baby, drill. One of the biggest drivers of housing costs, aside from illegal immigration, is, think about it. If a truck driver's paying 40% more for diesel, then the lumber he's delivering to the job site to build the house is also going to become a lot more expensive. If we open up American energy, you will get immediate pricing relief for American citizens, not, by the way, just in housing, but in a whole host of other economic goods, too.
Senator Vance, you still have 23 seconds there. Do you want to answer?
Can I have it?
Where, Governor, we will get to you in a moment. But Senator, where are you going to seize the federal lands? Can you clarify?
Well, what Donald Trump has said is we have a lot of federal lands that aren't being used for anything. They're not being used for a national park. They're not being used, and they could be places where we build a lot of housing. And I do think that we should be opening up building in this country. We have a lot of land that could be used. We have a lot of Americans that need homes. We should be kicking out illegal immigrants who are competing for those homes, and we should be building more homes for the American citizens who deserve to be here.
Senator, your time is up. Governor, I do want to let you respond to the allegation that the vice president is letting in
Well, of course, that's not true. And again, you have the facts. I guess we agreed not to fact check. I'll check it. But look, crossings are down compared to when Donald Trump left office. But it's, again, blaming and not trying to find the solution. I was going to ask, though, on this question, are we going to drill and build houses in the same federal land? And I think when people hear federal lands, these are really important pieces of land. Now, Minnesota doesn't have a lot of federal lands. I know in the western part of the countries we do. There's not a lot of federal lands in and around Minneapolis, for example. So the issue is I don't understand the federal lands issue unless we see this, and I worry about this as someone who cares deeply about our national parks and our federal lands. Look, Minnesota We protect these things. We've got about 20% of the world's fresh water. These lands protect. They're there for a reason. They belong to all of us. But again, this is when you view housing and you view these things as commodities. Like, there's a chance to make money here. Let's take this federal land and let's sell it to people for that. I think there's better ways to do this. We've seen it in Minnesota. We're able to refurbish some of these houses. We're able to make some investments. That gets people in. And I'm still on the fact on this. Economists. Senator Vance, you said you don't like the economists. Which economists are saying that it is immigrants that's adding to the cost?
Governor, your time is up. But Senator, on that point, I'd like for you to clarify. There are many contributing factors to high housing costs. What evidence do you have that migrants are part of this problem?
Well, there's a Federal Reserve study that we're happy to share after the debate. We'll put it up on social media, actually, that really drills down on the connection between increased levels of migration, especially illegal immigration, and higher housing prices. Now, of course, Margaret, that's not the entire driver of higher housing prices. It's also the regulatory regime of Kamala Harris. Look, we are a country of builders. We're a country of doers. We're a country of explorers. But we increasingly have a federal administration that makes it harder to develop our resources, makes it harder to build things, and wants to throw people in jail for not doing everything exactly as Kamala Harris says they have to do. And what that means is that you have a lot of people who would love to build homes who aren't able to build homes. I actually agree with Tim Walz. We should get out of this idea of housing as a commodity. But the thing that has most turned housing into a commodity is giving it away to millions upon millions of people who have no legal right to be here.
What are the federal regulations? I deal with this as a governor.
You can very quickly reply.
I'm sorry. I get this as a governor, and I don't necessarily disagree with that in some cases, many of those are local, many of them are state. I don't know which ones are federal, but I think whenever we talk regulations, people think they can get rid of them. I think you want to be able to get out of your house in a fire. I think you want to make sure that it's fireproof and those types of things. So which are the regulations? Because the vice president's not responsible for those. Congress writes those.
Governor, thank you. Gentlemen, we have a lot to get to. You're passionate about the housing crisis, I can tell. But Nora?
Thank you. One of the top problems facing Americans is the high cost of health care. Senator Vance, at the last presidential debate, former President Trump was asked about replacing the Affordable Care Act. In response, he said, "I have concepts of a plan." Since then, Senator, you've talked about changing how chronically ill Americans get health insurance. Can you explain how that would work? And can you guarantee that Americans with pre-existing conditions won't pay more? I'll give you 2 minutes.
Well, of course, we're going to cover Americans with pre-existing conditions. In fact, a lot of my family members have gotten health care. I believe, members of my family actually got private health insurance, at least for the first time, switched off of Medicaid onto private insurance for the first time under Donald Trump's leadership. And I think that, a lot of people have criticized this concepts of a plan remark. It's very simple common sense. I think as Tim Walz knows from 12 years in Congress, you're not going to propose a 900-page bill standing on a debate stage. It would bore everybody to tears, and it wouldn't actually mean anything because part of this is the give and take of bipartisan negotiation. Now, when Donald Trump was actually president, and again, he has a record to be proud of, prescription drugs fell in 2018 for the first time in a very long time. Under Kamala Harris's leadership, prescription drugs are up about 7%. Under Donald Trump's entire 4 years, they were up about 1.5%. He introduced pricing transparency. Think about healthcare. You go into a hospital, you try to buy something, and nobody knows what it actually costs. That price transparency will actually give American consumers a little bit more choice and will also drive down costs. And we talked about, the reinsurance regulations is what I was talking about. Look, Donald Trump has said that if we allow states to experiment a little bit on how to cover both the chronically ill but the non-chronically ill, it's not just a plan. He actually implemented some of these regulations when he was president of the United States. And I think you can make a really good argument that it salvaged Obamacare, which was doing disastrously until Donald Trump came along. And I think this is an important point about President Trump. Of course, you don't have to agree with everything that President Trump has ever said or ever done. But when Obamacare was crushing under the weight of its own regulatory burden and health care costs, Donald Trump could have destroyed the program. Instead, he worked in a bipartisan way to ensure that Americans had access to affordable care. It's not perfect, of course, and there's so much more that we can do, but I think that Donald Trump has earned the right to put in place some better health care policies. He's earned it because he did it successfully the first time.
Governor?
All right, here's where being an old guy gives you some history. I was there at the creation of the ACA.
Maybe.
And
Probably
the
the
reason it was
Canadians
so
ones.
important is I come from a major healthcare state, home of the Mayo Clinic, home to Medical Alley, 3M, Medtronic, all of those. We understand healthcare. It's why we're ranked first on affordability and accessibility and quality of healthcare. And so what I know is under Kamala Harris, more people are covered than they have before. And those of you listening, this is critical to you. Now, Donald Trump all of a sudden wants to. Go back and remember this. He ran on the first thing he was going to do on day one was to repeal Obamacare. On day one, he tried to sign an executive order to repeal the ACA. He signed on to a lawsuit to repeal the ACA, but lost at the Supreme Court. And he would have repealed the ACA had it not been for the courage of John McCain to save that bill. Now, fast forward, what that means to you is you lose your pre-existing conditions. If you're sitting at home and you got asthma, too bad. If you're a woman, probably not. Broke your foot during football, might kick you out. Your kids get kicked out when they're 26. Kamala Harris negotiated drug prices for the first time with Medicare. We have 10 drugs that will come online, the most common ones that'll be there. But look, this issue, and when Donald Trump said, I've got a concept of a plan, it cracked me up as a fourth grade teacher because my kids would have never given me that. But what Senator Vance just explained might be worse than a concept, because what he explained is pre-Obamacare. And I'll make this as simple as possible because I have done this for a long time. What they're saying is, if you're healthy, why should you be paying more? So what they're going to do is let insurance companies pick who they insure, because guess what happens? You pay your premium, it's not much. They figure they're not going to have to pay out to you. But those of you a little older, gray, got cancer, you're going to get kicked out of it. That's why the system didn't work. Kamala Harris will protect and enhance the ACA.
Governor, thank you. Senator, you have not yet explained how you would protect people with pre-existing conditions or laid out that plan.
Well, look, we currently have laws and regulations in place right now that protect people with pre-existing conditions. We want to keep those regulations in place, but we also want to make the health insurance marketplace function a little bit better. Now, what Governor Walz just said is actually not true. A lot of what happened, and the reason that Obamacare was crushing under its own weight, is that a lot of young and healthy people were leaving the exchanges. Donald Trump actually helped address that problem, and he did so in a way that preserved people's access to coverage who had pre-existing conditions. But again, something that these guys do is they make a lot of claims about if Donald Trump becomes president, all of these terrible consequences are going to ensue. But in reality, Donald Trump was president. Inflation was low. Take-home pay was higher. And he saved the very program from a Democratic administration that was collapsing and would have collapsed absent his leadership. He did his job, which is govern in a bipartisan way and get results, not just complain about problems, but actually solve them.
Governor, did enrollment under the Affordable Care Act go up under the Trump administration?
It's higher now that we've seen it go up. Look, people are using it. The system works. And the question about this of young people or whatever, that's the individual mandate piece of this. And Republicans fought tooth and nail saying, well, Americans should be free to do this. Well, then what happens is... So you think the
individual mandate's a good idea?
You shrink. I think the idea of making sure the risk pool is broad enough to cover everyone, that's the only way insurance works. When it doesn't, it collapses. You are asking pre-ACA where we get people out. Look, people know that they need to be on health care. People expect it to be there. And when we are able to make it, and we are making it this way, when we incentivize people to be in the market, when we help people who might not be able to afford it get there, and we make sure then when you get sick and old, it's there for you. Because I heard people say, well, I don't want to buy into Medicare or whatever. Good luck buying health care once you get past 70. So look, the ACA works. We can continue to do better. Kamala Harris did that. The way she made everything better was negotiating those 10 drugs on Medicare for the first time in American history.
Thank you. Margaret?
Can I address that?
I apologize. We're out of time. We have a number of subjects to discuss. Margaret?
Let's talk about families in America. There is a child care crisis in this country, and the United States is one of the very few developed countries in the world without a national paid leave program for new parents. Governor Walz, you've said that if Democrats win both the White House and Congress, this is a day one priority for you. How long should employers be required to pay workers while they are home taking care of their newborns? You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's negotiable, and that's what Congress worked. But here's what the deal is. Americans sitting out there right now, you may work for a big company. Look, we're home in Minnesota to some of the largest Fortune 500 companies. Kamala Harris knows that in California. Those companies provide paid family medical leave. One is, I think they're moral and they think it's a good thing, but it also keeps their employees healthy. We in Minnesota passed a paid family medical leave. You have a child, and I had to go back to work 5 days after my kids were born. This allows you to stay home a certain amount of time. What we know is that gets the child off to a better start, the family works better, we stay in their employers, we get more consistency in that. So Kamala Harris has made it a priority. We implemented it in Minnesota and we see growth. That's how you become a pro-business state. But the negotiations on it, and here's the issue, those big companies are able to offer it. Those of you out there who don't have it, just imagine what happens if you get cancer or your child gets sick. We know what happens. You end up staying home. In some places, that means no paycheck because you've got no protection on that. This is the case of an economy that Donald Trump has set for the wealthiest amongst us. He's willing to give those tax breaks to the wealthiest. He's willing to say, bust those unions up, do whatever. What we're saying is the economy works best when it works for all of us. And so a paid family medical leave program, and I will tell you, go to the families or go to the businesses and ask them. As far as childcare on this, you have to take it at both the supply and the demand side. You can't expect the most important people in our lives to take either our children or our parents to get paid the least amount of money. And we have to make it easier for folks to be able to get into that business and then to make sure that folks are able to pay for that. We were able to do it in Minnesota, and I'm still telling you this. We were listed as the best state. We're still in crisis on this. A federal program of paid family and medical leave and help with this will enhance our workforce, enhance our families, and make it easier to have the children that you want.
Governor, your time is up. Senator, do you support a national paid leave program? And if so, for how long should employers be mandated to pay their employees while they are home taking care of their newborn? You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, first of all, Margaret, a number of my Republican colleagues and some Democrats, too, have worked on this issue. And I think there is a bipartisan solution here because a lot of us care about this issue. I mean, look, I speak from this very personally because I'm married to a beautiful woman who is an incredible mother to our 3 beautiful kids, but is also a very, very brilliant corporate litigator. And I'm so proud of her. But being a working mom, even for somebody with all of the advantages of my wife, is extraordinarily difficult. And it's not just difficult from a policy perspective. She actually had access to paid family leave because she worked for a bigger company. But the cultural pressure on young families and especially young women, I think makes it really hard for people to choose the family model they want. A lot of young women would like to go back to work immediately. Some would like to spend a little time home with the kids. Some would like to spend longer at home with the kids. We should have a family care model that makes choice possible. And I think this is a very important substantive difference between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris's approach. I mean, look, if you look at the federal programs that we have that support paid family leave right now, the Community Development Block Grant, and there's another block grant program that spends a lot of money from the federal government. These programs only go to one kind of child care model. Let's say you'd like your church maybe to help you out with child care. Maybe you live in a rural area or an urban area and you'd like to get together with families in your neighborhood to provide child care in the way that makes the most sense. You don't get access to any of these federal monies. We want to promote choice in how we deliver family care and how we promote child care because, look, it is unacceptable. And, you know, of course, Tim and I have been on the campaign trail a lot the past 7 or 8 weeks. And one of the biggest complaints I hear from young families is people who feel like they don't have options, like they're choosing between going to work or taking care for their kids. That is an incredible burden to put on American families. We're the only country that does it. I think we could do a heck of a lot better.
Senator, thank you. You have also said, Senator Vance, many things about the American family. The Federal Reserve says parents will spend nearly as much on child care as they do on housing each month. So I want to get your thoughts on this. President Trump recently said, as much as child care is talked about as being expensive, it's relatively speaking not very expensive compared to the kinds of numbers we'll be taking in. Is President Trump committed to the $5,000 per child tax credit that you have described? You have 1 minute.
Well, what President Trump said, Margaret, I just want to defend my running mate here a little bit, is that we're going to be taking in a lot of money by penalizing companies for shipping jobs overseas and penalizing countries who employ slave laborers and then ship their products back into our country and undercut the wages of American workers. It's the heart of the Donald Trump economic plan. Cut taxes for American workers and American families. Cut taxes for businesses that are hiring and building companies in the United States of America, but penalize companies and countries that are shipping jobs overseas. That's the heart of the economic proposal. And I think what President Trump is saying is that when we bring in this additional revenue with higher economic growth, we're going to be able to provide paid family leave, child care options that are viable and workable for a lot of American families.
Can you clarify how that will solve the child care shortage?
Well, because as Tim said, a lot of the child care shortage is we just don't have enough resources going into the multiple people who could be providing family care options. And we're going to have to, unfortunately, look, we're going to have to spend more money. We're going to have to induce more people to want to provide child care options for American families, because the reason it's so expensive right now is because you've got way too few people providing this very essential service.
Thank you, Senator. Governor Walz, your ticket also has some child care tax credit proposals. Do you think Congress will agree to the $6,000 credit for newborns and $3,000 credit for children over the age of 6, as your campaign has promised? Is that realistic?
Well, if these members of Congress are listening to anybody, I can tell you, and this is the biggest issue. Everybody listening tonight knows. I mean, I'm sure they were shocked to hear it's not that expensive. And let's be clear, whether it's $5,000 or $6,000, that pays you about 3 or 4 months. Let's be clear of where we're at on this. It's because we got out of an imbalance on this. We thought we were going to get by not paying people. I don't think Senator Vance and I are that far apart. I'm not opposed to what he's talking about on options. We've done scholarships types of things. I think we need to be open to making the case. But the issue here is, the question you asked is, you're not going to pay for it with these tariffs. That's just adding another $4,000 on the family and taking less. So not only do they not get the money to pay for that, they're $4,000 in the hole. That's Wharton School. That's his alma mater. And so I think the issue here is, if those members of Congress, I can't believe they're not. When I go to businesses, sure, they'll talk about taxes sometime, but they will lead with childcare and they will lead with housing, because we know the problem is, especially in a state like Minnesota, we need more workers because our economy's growing, but we need the workforce.
Governor, thank you. We need to move on. Nora?
Let's talk about the state of democracy, the top issue for Americans after the economy and inflation. After the 2020 election, President Trump's campaign and others filed 62 lawsuits contesting the results. Judges, including those appointed by President Trump and other Republican presidents, looked at the evidence and said there was no widespread fraud. The governors of every state in the nation, Republicans and Democrats, certified the 2020 election results and sent a legal slate of electors to Congress for January 6th. Senator Vance, you have said you would not have certified the last presidential election and would have asked the states to submit alternative electors. That has been called unconstitutional and illegal. Would you again seek to challenge this year's election results, even if every governor certifies the results? I'll give you 2 minutes.
Well, Nora, first of all, I think that we're focused on the future. We need to figure out how to solve the inflation crisis caused by Kamala Harris's policies, make housing affordable, make groceries affordable, and that's what we're focused on. But I want to answer your question because you did ask it. Look, what President Trump has said is that there were problems in 2020, and my own belief is that we should fight about those issues, debate those issues peacefully in the public square, and that's all I've said, and that's all that Donald Trump has said. Remember, he said that on January the 6th, the protesters ought to protest peacefully. And on January the 20th, what happened? Joe Biden became the president. Donald Trump left the White House. And now, of course, unfortunately, we have all of the negative policies that have come from the Harris-Biden administration. I believe that we actually do have a threat to democracy in this country, but unfortunately, it's not the threat to democracy that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz want to talk about. It is the threat of censorship. It's Americans casting aside lifelong friendships because of disagreements over politics. It's big technology companies silencing their fellow citizens. And it's Kamala Harris saying that rather than debate and persuade her fellow Americans, she'd like to censor people who engage in misinformation. I think that is a much bigger threat to democracy than anything that we've seen in this country in the last 4 years, in the last 40 years. Now, I'm really proud, especially given that I was raised by two lifelong blue-collar Democrats, to have the endorsement of Bobby Kennedy Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard, lifelong leaders in the Democratic coalition. And of course, they don't agree with me and Donald Trump on every issue. We don't have to agree on every issue, but we're united behind a basic American First Amendment principle that we ought to debate our differences. We ought to argue about them. We ought to try to persuade our fellow Americans. Kamala Harris is engaged in censorship at an industrial scale. She did it during COVID. She's done it over a number of other issues. And that, to me, is a much bigger threat to democracy than what Donald Trump said when he said that protesters should peacefully protest on January the 6th.
Governor?
Well, I've enjoyed tonight's debate, and I think there was a lot of commonality here. And I'm sympathetic to misspeaking on things, and I think I might have with the senator.
Me too, man.
There's one though that this one is troubling to me, and I say that because I think we need to tell the story. Donald Trump refused to acknowledge this, and the fact is that I don't think we can be the frog in the pot and let the boiling water go up. He was very clear. I mean, he lost this election, and he said he didn't. 140 police officers were beaten at the Capitol that day. Some with the American flag, several later died. And it wasn't just in there. In Minnesota, a group gathered on the state capitol grounds in St. Paul and said, we're marching to the governor's residence and there may be casualties. The only person there was my son and his dog, who was rushed out crying by state police. That issue, and Mike Pence standing there as they were chanting, hang Mike Pence. Mike Pence made the right decision. So, Senator, it was adjudicated over and over and over. I worked with kids long enough to know, and I said as a football coach, sometimes you really want to win, but the democracy is bigger than winning an election. You shake hands, and then you try and do everything you can to help the other side win. That's what was at stake here. Now, the thing I'm most concerned about is the idea that imprisoning your political opponents, already laying the groundwork for people not accepting this. And a president's words matter. A president's words matter. People hear that. So I think this issue of settling our differences at the ballot box, shaking hands when we lose, being honest about it, but to deny what happened on January 6th, the first time in American history that a president or anyone tried to overturn a fair election and the peaceful transfer of power. And here we are 4 years later in the same boat. I will tell you this, that when this is over, we need to shake hands this election, and the winner needs to be the winner. This has got to stop. It's tearing our country apart.
Margaret?
Senator Vance, did you want to respond to that?
Yeah, well, look, Tim, first of all, it's really rich for Democratic leaders to say that Donald Trump is a unique threat to democracy when he peacefully gave over power on January the 20th, as we have done for 250 years in this country. We are going to shake hands after this debate and after this election. And of course, I hope that we win, and I think we're going to win. But if Tim Walz is the next vice president, he'll have my prayers, he'll have my best wishes, and he'll have my help whenever he wants it. But we have to remember that for years in this country, Democrats protested the results of elections. Hillary Clinton in 2016 said that Donald Trump had the election stolen by Vladimir Putin because the Russians bought like $500,000 worth of Facebook ads. This has been going on for a long time. And if we want to say that we need to respect the results of the election, I'm on board. But if we want to say, as Tim Walz is saying, that this is just a problem that Republicans have had, I don't buy that.
Governor.
January 6th was not Facebook ads. And I think a revisionist history on this. Look, I don't understand how we got to this point. But the issue was that happened. Donald Trump can do it. And all of us say there's no place for this. It has massive repercussions. This idea that there's censorship to stop people from threatening to kill someone, threatening to do something, that's not censorship. Censorship is book banning. We've seen that. We've seen that brought up. I just think for everyone tonight, and I'm going to thank Senator Vance, I think this is the conversation they want to hear. And I think there's a lot of agreement, but this is one that we are miles apart on. This was a threat to our democracy in a way that we had not seen. And it manifested itself because of Donald Trump's inability to say. He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer.
It's a damning non-answer for you to not talk about censorship. Obviously, Donald Trump and I think that there were problems in 2020. We've talked about it. I'm happy to talk about it further. But you guys attack us for not believing in democracy. The most sacred right under the United States democracy is the First Amendment. You yourself have said there's no First Amendment right to misinformation. Kamala Harris wants to use the power of government and big tech to silence people from speaking their minds. That is a threat to democracy that will long outlive this present political moment. I would like Democrats and Republicans to both reject censorship. Let's persuade one another. Let's argue about ideas, and then let's come together afterwards.
You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. That's the test. That's the Supreme Court test.
Tim, fire in a crowded theater. You guys wanted to kick people off of Facebook for saying that toddlers shouldn't wear masks.
Senator, the governor does have the floor.
Fire in a crowded theater. That is criticizing the policies of the government, which is the right of every American.
Senator, the governor does have the floor for 1 minute to
Please.
respond to you.
Yeah. Well, I don't run Facebook. What I do know is I see a candidate out there who refused, and now again, and this I'm pretty shocked by this. He lost the election. This is not a debate. It's not anything anywhere other than in Donald Trump's world. Because look, when Mike Pence made that decision to certify that election, that's why Mike Pence isn't on this stage. What I'm concerned about is, where is the firewall with Donald Trump? Where is the firewall if he knows he could do anything, including taking an election, and his vice president's not going to stand to it? That's what we're asking you, America. Will you stand up? Will you keep your oath of office, even if the president doesn't? And I think Kamala Harris would agree. She wouldn't have picked me if she didn't think I would do that, because of course that's what we would do. So, America, I think you've got a really clear choice on this election of who's going to honor that democracy and who's going to honor Donald Trump.
Governor, your time is up. Thank you, gentlemen. We will be right back with both of our candidates. The CBS News vice presidential debate continues.
Oh, is this so fucking long? When does this end, dude? This is this is far more interesting. This is far more interesting than the fucking last debate, because they're actually talking about shit that matters. The fucking January 6th question, though, like it's like he won't answer the questions that actually matter. Like, that matters a lot, okay? January 6th is such a weird issue because it's like, you know, I was at dinner in a party in Miami while I was there last week, and there was an American lawyer there, and it's interesting from a Canadian perspective because Canada is such a weird bird's eye view on the world, and nothing we say actually matters. I feel like just Canadian discussions, especially about American politics, don't get heated. Unless it's like college students, they don't get heated at all. And then this guy, Trump got brought up, and this lawyer got so serious. And he was like, Trump is so disgusting, and like what happened on January 6th was so dramatic. I'm not even going to begin to bring it up. Like, there's no reason, like, we're at a party, and I'm not going to joke about it in any way. Like, it's absolutely, like, abhorrent to me. And I found that really interesting, because it's like, you know, it's obviously not that, it's obviously not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal in Canada. It doesn't get brought up in any serious way in Canada. Unless you're a political pundit or, like, making money off of politics. Some people take it very seriously, but I don't know. I think it's like you either think that nothing happened, or you think that like the country almost got destroyed, and there's no in between. I've never met anyone who has like a sort of in between take on January 6th. It's either one or the other. And I was the other for a while. I was like, oh, a bunch of people went on like a big revolution LARP into the White House, and like nothing really bad happened. But I don't know. As I get older, I really start to see like the importance of it, especially in like the context of a peaceful transfer of power. Trump's comments surrounding it, the fact that he still thinks he won the election, it's scary. It's scary that someone is running for office that thinks that. And I do agree with like the sort of the destiny position of like, you know, regardless of what you think about his policy or like how he's going to run the country versus Kamala Harris, it's a non-starter if you don't believe that that was like one of the worst things to ever happen to democracy, right? All of that, no matter what, everything Trump says is secondary to that, right? You're electing somebody in office who wouldn't agree to a peaceful transfer of power and thinks he still won the election, and who will probably do that again, or is gearing up to do it again. At least I know in Georgia, they're like stalking the election officiators, with people who are like super pro-Trump. It's totally his plan. It's totally what he wants to do, and he's said it multiple times out loud about like being a dictator, or the weird thing with the Christian thing where he's like, Christian voters, when I'm in, you won't have to vote again. Like, don't say shit like that. So how can you move past that into like policy if you see that as like, if you believe that he like thinks he won the election, he didn't turn power over peacefully, called for January 6th, called for violence. If you agree with that, and then you're still voting Trump, you're kind of assuming this position that like that doesn't matter to you. And neither of them could answer that fucking question either. So, fuck both of
Presidential
them.
debate. It is now time for the closing statement. Senator Vance won the virtual coin toss and elected to go last. So, Governor Walz, you are first. You have 2 minutes.
Well, thank you, Senator Vance. Thank you to CBS News. And most importantly, thank you to all of you. If you're still up and the folks who
Because
miss Dancing with Our Stars, I
democracy
appreciate
is all we
it. But look,
fucking have.
the
Even if it
support of
sucks,
democracy matters.
it's
It
better than
matters that
what
you're
the
here.
fucking alternative
And I'm
is.
as surprised as anybody of this coalition that Kamala Harris has built, from Bernie Sanders to Dick Cheney to Taylor Swift, and a whole bunch of folks in between there. And they don't all agree on everything, but they are truly optimistic people. They believe in a positive future of this country, and one where our politics can be better than it is. And I have to tell you, that better than it is the sense of optimism that there can be an opportunity economy that works for everyone, not just to get by, but to get ahead. And the idea that freedom really means something. Not the freedom of government to be in your bedroom or exam room, but the freedom for you to make choices about yourself. Now, look, we all know who Donald Trump is. He's told us, and as Maya Angelou said, believe him when he told you that. His first inaugural address talked about American carnage. And then he spent 4 years trying to maybe do that. Senator Vance tonight made it clear he will stand with Donald Trump's agenda. He will continue to push down that road. Excuse me. Kamala Harris gives us a different option. Now, I'll have to tell you, I'm going to be careful about the quotes, but there's one that Senator Vance said that does resonate with me. He said, Donald Trump makes the people I care about afraid. A lot of America feels that way. We don't need to be afraid. Franklin Roosevelt was right. All we have to fear is fear itself. Kamala Harris is bringing us a new way forward. She's bringing us a politics of joy. She's bringing real solutions for the middle class, and she's centering you at the heart of that. All the while asking everyone, join this movement, make your voices heard. Let's look for a new day where everybody gets that opportunity and everybody gets a chance to thrive. I humbly ask for your vote on November 5th for Kamala Harris.
Governor Walz, thank you. Senator Vance, your closing statement.
Well, I want to thank Governor Walz, you folks at CBS, and of course the American people for tuning in this evening. And one of the issues we didn't talk about was energy. And I remember when I was being raised by my grandmother, when she didn't have enough money to turn on the heat some nights because Ohio gets pretty cold at night and because money was often very tight. And I believe, as a person who wants to be your next vice president, that we are a rich and prosperous enough country where every American, whether they're rich or poor, ought to be able to turn on their heat in the middle of a cold winter night. That's gotten more difficult thanks to Kamala Harris's energy policies. I believe that whether you're rich or poor, you ought to be able to afford a nice meal for your family. That's gotten harder because of Kamala Harris's policies. I believe that whether you're rich or poor, you ought to be able to afford to buy a house. You ought to be able to live in safe neighborhoods. You ought to not have your communities flooded with fentanyl. And that, too, has gotten harder with because of Kamala Harris's policies. Now, I've been in politics long enough to do what Kamala Harris does when she stands before the American people and says that on day one, she's going to work on all these challenges I just listed. She's been the vice president for 3.5 years. Day one was 1,400 days ago, and her policies have made these problems worse. Now, I believe that we have the most beautiful country in the world. I meet people on the campaign trail who can't afford food, but have the grace and generosity to ask me how I'm doing and to tell me they're praying for my family. What that has taught me is that we have the greatest country, the most beautiful country, the most incredible people anywhere in the world. But they're not going to be able to achieve their full dreams with the broken leadership that we have in Washington. They're not going to be able to live their American dream if we do the same thing that we've been doing for the last 3.5 years. We need change. We need a new direction.
I'll vote
we
for
need a
whoever
president
has a
who has
bigger
already done this once
K0CK.
before and did it well. Please vote for Donald Trump. And whether you vote for me
I
or
have
vote
no
for
idea
Tim
who that would
Walz,
be.
I just want to say I'm so proud to be doing this, and I'm rooting for you. God bless you, and good night.
Senator Vance, thank you. And thank you both for participating in the only vice presidential debate of this election cycle. I'm Margaret Brennan.
And I'm Norah O'Donnell. And a reminder, there are just 35 days until Election Day. Please get out and vote.
What do we think? Who is a bigger cock? I cannot make that call. I have no fucking clue who's a bigger cock. Genuinely, like if I rack my brain for that question, I'm gonna go with Walz as like a slightly bit bigger. Yeah, but Walz got cooked. Walz is just like cooked is a wrong way to put it. It's like if this is we're approaching this with like a Twitter perspective or like a Twitch like a debate bro perspective, which I don't know. Again, debates don't really sway public opinion at all. I think this was close. I don't think it was as obvious as the Kamala Trump one for making Trump seem as unlikable as he's made himself seem. Cooked is an overstatement, but like Vance definitely just like handled himself better. He was calm, collected, had some zingers. Walz, little scatterbrained, little sweaty, if you ask me. A little sweaty. He's making that face the whole time, those wide eyes. Not good, man. Not good. Not good at all. But I still have yet to hear, like, I don't know what is Trump's housing policy? Because they just go back to this thing, it's like, we're going to kick immigrants out and make everything cheaper. It's like what they keep fucking landing back on. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, how are you going to do that? They never talk about how they're going to do it. They never fucking bring it up. Just say it. Just bring it up. You can say it. It's so frustrating. It's so goddamn frustrating. I just want to see it. I just want to fucking see it. Ooh, a Snapdragon seed. God damn. Man, RuneScape's so fun. How's RuneScape? How do you guys like the RuneScape behind the chat? What do we got here? Perspectives. Trump said, Walz, there's no solution. I was wondering if that face was Walz thinking hard, but he kind of seemed like a little flustered. Trump has no policies. Yeah. Yang Gang. I remember Yang. Yang was fun for a bit. Hypixel Skyblock. You don't like the RuneScape behind the chat? Fuck you. What would you rather me play? Like a racing game? I'm not ADHD enough to do a high-functioning game and then talk at the same time. This is the only game I think I could possibly play while talking at the same time. I just want Trump to tweet again, like he did. He's old. He's an old fuck, too. Like, look, non-starters for me, January 6th was one of the worst things to ever happen. He's an old fart, okay? 2 non-starters. I can't move past that. You're gonna critique Biden for being old. Critique Trump for being old. He's clearly old. He's clearly aged as the campaign cycle has gone on as well. Over the last year, he's gotten like visibly slower. And his voice has gotten raspier. His last few interviews, he's looking rough and old. Parlez français maintenant et fuck you. No, I will not do that. I'll never speak that wretched language. I'm collecting herbs on RuneScape.com, oldschoolRuneScape.com in the RuneLite client. Trump is definitely on cognitive decline. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Come on. Let me see if I can find like a video of Trump's housing policy. Let's see. Bloomberg Television. What do you guys say?
How realistic are these ideas? If it was that easy to fix the housing crunch this country has been experiencing, wouldn't we have done so already?
I don't know if I would go that far. This has been a Congress, one of many in a long succession that seems immune to pursuing the practical solution that's right in front of them. I mean, this is also a Congress that saw child poverty halve under its watch and then double again. So to say that the obvious solution would have been, enacted already is a big stretch for how unproductive Congress has been for the past 15 years. However, your question about whether or not this is a practical solution, I think the policy has to meet two needs in terms of being successful as economic policy. It has to meet the sentiment of people where they are, and it has to fix the problem. And that can be a very difficult line to walk because Americans are convinced that the reason why they have home prices is because investors are buying up almost all of the existing housing stock. That actual effect on prices is limited, but it's something that Americans want to see action on. And I can understand pursuing that policy, even if it wouldn't necessarily change the housing market, if it would change how people felt about the housing market.
So what about the kind of policy ideas we just heard J.D. Vance talking about? This idea, and we've heard it from Donald Trump as well. If you want to fix higher prices, drill, baby, drill. It's about unlocking energy specifically, even though we do know right now the U.S. is pumping a record amount of oil and gas. What would that actually solve, Catherine? Do you see a through line from energy into housing?
Not as obvious as he's making it to be. I think that housing suffers from an array of issues related to financing at the start, how materials have been hit by the inflation crisis. Sometimes I've heard people speak more clearly about the effect of the housing crisis 15 years ago and how that has had, a generational effect on the production of housing in the U.S. because it doesn't turn on a dime. I mean, deciding to invest and build in homes is a pretty long process. So I don't know if just energy costs would come down to a clear problem. I mean, we have it in we have not enough supply of housing. How short we are, it really depends on who you ask. And the solution, I think, comes from, in part, building more housing, in part, extending the life of certain housing. What I like to tell people is that if you were to think of the solution that housing needs, it would have to look scattershot because it's not as if there's just one home that everybody in America wants to buy that's in one location, right? You need to hit various price points, various preferences for home owning and for renting. So there's no silver bullet out there for the housing market. Like if we just did this one thing, we'd all be okay. We need to pursue a lot of solutions that chip away at a big problem, but none of them are going to look like, the obvious winner.
And Catherine, finally, if we could just widen out.
Nothing. Can I get something? Can I please get something? Just like some concrete thing. On affordable housing. Please, just something about Trump's housing policy. What is Trump's housing policy? I don't want to watch this hour and a half fucking podcast of this one yap. 7 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 months ago. Can anyone give me a link on this? This is the one thing I'd like. The last debate, this debate, I've not seen anything specific mentioned. What is Trump's housing policy? Okay. During Vice President Kamala Harris's, here's the thing, we don't have a shortage of homes, housing, too expensive for many. Both candidates have talked about housing on the campaign trail. Never seen that before in a presidential debate. No new issue. What Harris proposed. Okay. Earlier this year, the Biden administration announced a new series of policy proposals that deployed a public-private approach focused on changing exclusionary zoning, expanding the financing options for affordable housing, and promoting the conversation of empty office space into apartments. Harris has since outlined further policies to address homeownership after becoming the Democratic nominee. Harris's plan largely focuses on the supply side of the problem, promising to work with the private sector and home builders to increase 3 million homes by the end of my first term. Okay. Good. The federal government has pretty limited muscle to actually move housing supply, says McGabe, considering that regulatory burdens like zoning or building codes are usually at the local level. Fair. Harris's plan also includes expansion of low-income housing tax and additional tax incentives for builders to produce more starter homes, as well as creating $40 billion tax credit to make affordable projects feasible for builders. Ooh, a Renar weed. I get that Grammy Renar. $25,000 down payment assistance. Trump did not mention housing during the debate on Tuesday, but he has previously addressed the issue during his campaign. During a speech earlier this month, the Economic Club of New York, he promised to reduce regulations and open swaths of federal land for large-scale housing construction. Regulation costs 30% of a new home and will open up portions of federal land for large-scale housing construction. He said these zones will be ultra-low tax and ultra-low regulations, one of the great small business job creation programs. It's not clear what regulations Trump wants to target, though. Taking a look at federal land might be a bipartisan solution. President Joe Biden also called on federal agencies in July to assist surplus federal land that could be repurposed to build more affordable housing across the country. Kamala Harris cannot be trusted to fix the housing affordability crisis because she and Joe Biden caused it. Statement over the email, Trump's plan, President Trump can be trusted to restore the American dream. He has a real plan to defeat inflation, bring down mortgage rates, and make purchasing a home dramatically more affordable. Immigration. Donald Trump also tried housing costs to immigration. He said he would ban mortgages for undocumented immigrants and that he will lower housing costs by stopping the unsustainable. Okay. So immigration, opening up federal land versus a housing tax credit and a $40 billion tax credit for projects and rezoning stuff to become. Okay. That's fair. Debate's over. Tropical. You snooze, you lose. It was great too. I was laughing the whole time. I was blown away. I was flabbergasted. It was one of the best pieces of political media I've ever consumed in my entire life, and you missed it. No, I agree. I mean, like, look, I don't know what America faces, the nuances of the American housing crisis. I do know in Canada that so many Canadians have their wealth tied up in their home that if housing costs went down by any significant number, it would destroy the net worth of so many fucking Canadians. So, it's nice from a renter's perspective or from like a non-homeowner's perspective, but at the end of the day, it's like my mom owns a home. That's in my family. That's my family's net worth. That's my mom's net worth. If that house crashes, because it's gone up dramatically in the last 10 years, and especially in the last 5 years since before COVID, if that house crashes, my mom loses so much of her net worth, right? So my grandparents are homeowners. All my fucking aunts and uncles are homeowners. So, it sounds nice. I mean, how many homeowners? I guess it's like, I think the majority of people. Wait. How many homeowners are there in Canada? How many homeowners, Canada? Two in three Canadians lived in an owner-occupied home in 2022. 68%, figure was 65. Okay, so the majority of Canadians own homes. The majority of Canadians aren't renting. I guess it can stagnate. Housing is too speculative to apply the net worth in the U.S. at this point. I mean, I don't know in Canada. I guess, I watch a lot of Scuffed Realtor. I watch a lot of. What's up?
I'm a sick, twisted guy.
You're sick and twisted.
I heard. I was reading Twitter about the debate.
Yeah.
And I heard J.D. Vance cooked Tim Walz.
I'd say he won by like. If there's 100 points to win, JD got like 60 and Tim Walz got like 40.
Cooked.
I think cooked might be a strong adjective.
Cooked.
Cucked. He cucked JD. He cucked Tim Walz. What do you think about these guys? Baron Specters. They drop herbs.
I don't give a fuck about these guys.
You don't give a fuck about these guys?
No, I don't give a fuck about these guys.
Can you say you hate Hassan?
I don't care for Hassan Piker. I don't care for that man.
Do you hate Hassan Piker?
Sorry, let me just build it up.
Okay, can you say you hate Hassan Piker? Do you hate Hassan Piker? Wait, sorry, Greg, I have to show you a clip. I think
Oh my fucking God.
I think if I show you this Hassan Piker clip, it will.
This is taking me right back to the deep trauma
Greg,
I endured.
Hassan clip. I have to show you this Hassan clip. I think if you watch this Hassan clip, you'll agree. Here we go.
And so here we are. I'm living up to what I said about conservatives and progressives. We're having a conversation. So you said America deserved 9/11. Did you mean that?
Yeah.
Did you see that Hassan clip?
Holy shit.
What about like this Hassan clip?
Brogan, I gotta love with you, okay?
How do you like read this stuff all day and like not like prior stuff?
Are you sure? What about this Hassan clip? I'm about to show
I'm
you?
motivated by the.
Love blowing up the shit. Just stop doing genocide in Gaza. But Israel was like, no, we have to keep doing genocide in Gaza. So America was like, of course, Israel is our ally. We have to do everything we can to bring them to heel.
Okay, with that black
But he
and
just
white?
took us
Pretty
in.
much.
Look, he's seeing
I mean,
all
I'm
the sins he has
simplifying
in the
a little bit,
background.
but at the end of it all, okay, Operation Prosperity Guardian. Yeah. Was it a success? We are the most powerful navy on the planet. I mean, look at this. Look at all these people. Look at all these places. Look at everything that's going on. It was a whopping failure. It was a massive failure. The Houthis were determined.
Dreg, you should poke left-wing debate bros more. It'll be good for your career, probably, or something. Wait, they can't hear me apparently.
What do you mean they can't hear you?
I don't know. They're just saying we can't hear Dreg.
There we go. Talk louder.
I was just talking in my normal performative voice.
I don't think you watched that Hassan clip. I think if you watched that Hassan clip, you'd
I know what he's saying.
Do you? I
know what all these guys are saying. They've been streaming 10 hours a day for the last 12 years. They are a script. You can predict what their takes are going to be about situations. That's fine. That's how we all are. But I don't have an opinion about it. I don't care. I don't think about it. You shouldn't think about it. No one should think about it. You should have a friend.
I think if you watched that Hassan clip, you'd feel different.
I'm going to commit suicide.
I think the only issue with you is that you haven't watched the Hassan clip.
Okay, let's watch the Hassan clip.
Okay.
I'll put my full attention on the Hassan clip, but only because Brogan's asking me.
Ask Biden, are the airstrikes in Yemen working?
Well, when you say working, are they stopping the Houthis? No. Are they going to continue? Yes.
At least he's honest.
Yeah, and that's precisely what happened. And basically, it was a spectacular failure with American media openly admitting its failure. Here is, let's see what the total cost was at the end of it. Operation Prosperity Guardian failure. Operation Prosperity Guardian, a colossal blunder demanding an unyielding response. This was back from August, okay? They wanted to annihilate the Houthi infrastructure. They wanted to end the floundering. This guy is like advocating to go all in, I think. Enable disaster, fix it now. Ultimate goal, neutralize and deter. Call to arms, no half measures. Okay, where is the actual cost? I need to see it. Not the fucking Navy equipment cost. Tell Nick about the...
What do you think about that?
So it's
that was crazy.
It's a piece of journalism, first of all.
Did you like that? Do you hate us?
So it's an opinionated piece of journalism. This is just I'm just
Okay.
saying facts. This is all I know how to do. I only know how to say facts.
Okay.
The facts that I'm witnessing is this streamer, Hassan, is reading a Medium article, which is an opinionated piece of journalism, and that's it. That's all I got. That's all I gleaned. Did I miss something?
Okay. Yeah. No. He's exactly. So basically, you hate Hassan Piker.
But like, why am I hating him? Do I disagree with what he says?
Yeah. Wait. What? Like, let's go to this.
But
part.
he hasn't said
Sunday. You know what I mean?
Right. Let's go to
Just
this part.
one. It's not even. This doesn't even hit the top of the line in terms of like the ruthless efficiency in which they have slaughtered everyone, and also on top of that, have mercilessly destroyed all the buildings and made it uninhabitable. Gaza.
Is it just rubble now?
Yes.
I mean, how many people are left, man?
There are millions of people displaced. The total number of people that was living there is like 2.5 million. There are 42,000 people that they confirmed killed directly with rockets and directly with like shooting them and killing them. The Palestinian Health Ministry calculates the direct Israeli kills separately. The number that you hear is usually around 42,000. The number of death and the number of casualties is so much higher than that. They've maimed so many people. They've blown people's arms off, blown people's eyes off, all this stuff, right? So basically, that number is actually very small in comparison to the much, much larger death number because,
Okay, I've
for
got
example,
I've got my
You got
take.
it. Yeah. Okay. So you get.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in my opinion,
Yeah.
the problem with Hassan Piker is that he's just so racist.
Yeah.
And this is important.
Yeah.
Loves Zog.
Yeah. Do you think he loves Zog?
Hassan Piker loves Zog.
Hassan Piker's pro Zog.
He's pro Zog. I don't think he's I think he's not anti Zog. I think he's a Zog psyop.
Like you're anti Zog.
Yeah. A Mossad fucking Jew. I guess where I can go from the phonemes that I've said already. Ish controlled. Bad guy who is bad, and I don't care for him very particularly much. And he's brown.
He's Turkish.
Turkish.
You guys are like the same tone.
Yeah, I'm equally brown.
You guys are equally brown.
And he's got glasses and a chain, and he's wearing a tank top, and he's got a friend who seems to be listening to him intently. And he's such an American chauvinist. That's my least favorite part about him.
Come on, chat. Feed some
I
takes.
don't like that he's an American chauvinist.
Feed some takes. Feed some
He
Hassan
loves
takes.
America. He's Ameripilled. But we all know America's controlled by Zog.
Greg needs Hassan
He's
takes.
got
Feed them
poor-
faster.
Poor racial mixing. Obviously, I gotta say the racial mixing is poor.
Okay.
And you know what? He's just a trend. He's a trend. He's gonna die down. It's gonna die down soon. He can't even hoop properly. This guy can't even hoop. I bet he can't even score a dunk or a 3-pointer or a 2-pointer or a 4-pointer, any of the pointers. I'd give this guy some pointers. And one of the pointers that I would say is stop supporting prostitution. Yeah, this guy spends $1 billion a year on sex workers. That's where your Twitch 3 subs are going. They're going to Hassan Piker's sex work career as a sex worker. That's where he also sex works. He's selling his body for money when he's getting plenty from Twitch, and he steals Vril, and he's brown, but also I'm brown, and he's bad at League of Legends, and he's buff. But I will say though that he is buff, but he's anti-American, but he's also pro-American, and he has pretty eyes. But he went to a brothel once, and it's nepotism. It's all nepotism because he's from the Turkish. He's from the TYT, and he got tricked. I got tricked by American propaganda, and he can't even drive. Uncouver says he can't even drive.
He can't even drive.
And I feel like people are not going to stop watching him.
But
Honestly.
Greg, the glutes though. Come on, the glutes.
The glutes are good. The glutes are solid. I'm not arguing about the glutes. and he's friends with Ludwig, which is cringe, because Ludwig is cringe because he's friends with Hassan. And I feel like people are not going to stop watching him. I said that already, but I'm just really
I mean, he's
feel
kind of
like-
autistic.
He is kind of autistic, though, and his friends are so superficial. And he's a Turkoid who needs to return to Siberia
He
to
loves
defend
soy.
wolf's teats. And he loves soy, and he loves terrorism, and nepotism, and he can't split a cord.
Can you believe that Hassan showed a pro-terrorist song to this guy on the right?
He's a terrorist. He's pro-terrorism, and he's so big, it's a waste of resources. And nous allons se tuer.
I've
we're
always
gonna kill
found
him,
my
that's
biggest
what that
issue
means.
with my biggest issue with Hassan is that he speaks as though he's an expert on something after reading one article. That's always really bothered me about him.
Yeah, is that unique to him, or it's just like that's like fucking how we all do it constantly?
And it's like his friends catch on to it. Like his friends are dead-eyed. They're not even there.
Does he own Dritecoin? Hassan, I should give a Dritecoin to Hassan for free. Actually, I can. The thing is, I can do that because it's just an email, and you can't block emails. So if I send Hassan an email of a Dritecoin, technically I can say owned by Hassan, because that's like in the ledger then. Huh. My next Dritecoin launch, I'm gonna send it to 10 celebrities involuntarily, and they're all gonna have to have involuntarily supported it.
I kind of think that Turks are just kind of like this. You know? I think it's a racial issue with how the Turks act.
And he won't fight Sam Hyde, which is denying the people a spectacle. That would be fun. I think that's actually the only point that I do think it's pretty lame.
Yeah, like you hate him.
Yes. Yes, I hate Hassan Piker. Yes! Yes, I hate Hassan Piker! Sorry, I gotta tone down the active psychosis when talking on live streams.
Yeah, he really hates Hassan. He's been going nonstop.
Clip it. Clip all of that.
I got a guy now. I'm gonna put a VOD out tomorrow. Drake hates Hassan Piker.
Drake hates Hassan Piker? It's true. I can't stand this guy. He's brown.
He's Turkish. He
And he's
reads one
Turkish.
article and acts as if he's the expert on it.
And he's gay.
He can't drive.
He's homosexual.
He probably can hoop.
And he's not straight.
You know, I think the Turks made their entire identity out of living in the shadow of civilizations before them.
And I think he likes penis.
He doesn't even know Star Wars lore.
I think the sex workers were men. Mart is watching this on his phone in the other room.
Are they on? Oh wait, no, they're on New York time. They're fine.
And he paints his fingernails brown. And he paints his fingernails Jewish. And he loves Zog.
Speaking of how people are just like, have you shown Henry the racial vibe chart yet?
I'm talking about Zog.
Oh, we're talking about Zog.
Oh, we're talking about Zog.
Get in here, Mart. We're talking about Zog.
Oh
yeah, we're zogging it up.
Love that Zog fella.
Yeah. Mart, would you take Zog bucks?
I would take a lot of Zog bucks. I think I've probably taken many Zog bucks in my time.
Probably. You know, Raid Shadow Legends, when they sponsor you, it's from Israel.
Where's World of Tanks? Where are they based?
They're based in...
They're based everywhere, because tank warfare is awesome.
I don't remember. I got you guys on my fucking phone. Hold on.
Oh yeah, we're hearing ourselves over here.
Oh, Lava Battle Staff, 9K GP. That's a great
I remember.
drop.
I don't honestly, the World of Tanks guys, they're pretty chill. I kind of like them.
Bro, I'm cranking my Zog right now. It's a good one.
World of Tanks based in Tel Aviv.
You're having a lot of fun with that gun.
I'm just saying, like, it's just got some aura to it. You just bam,
bam,
bam. We should get you a gun.
Like a real one?
Yeah. Have you ever done the shooting guns in America with other YouTubers trend?
Of course.
Hell yeah.
Of course.
Who are you with?
Remy. You know Remy?
I don't know Remy.
Aussie YouTuber. And some Yogscast fellows.
Oh, that's fun.
And quite.
That seems like that's like the YouTuber rite of passage now is to like go shoot guns with other YouTubers.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, in Battlefield Vegas. That's the spot.
World of Tanks is based in Tel Aviv.
Is it actually?
Damn, everything's based
Is
in
it?
Tel Aviv.
Can I get a fact check on
I
that?
thought it was like.
I don't know.
Cyprus or some
I'm
shit.
just gonna believe it.
Let me get a prep.
Hassan would let himself get railed by 5 BBCs if it meant that he could get more shekels from Zog. I don't think anyone has ever said that before in the history of humanity.
World of Tanks.
Can I tweet Hassan as Zogged right now?
Where's the? Sorry, I got this fucking this thing in the way.
That's a beautiful webcam stand, by the way.
Yeah, you like that?
I like the idea of calling someone who's so
Day One
vehemently
Studios.
anti-Israel Zogged. Like in some way, he's still Zogged.
Wargaming.
Cyprus.
I knew it. Cyprus.
Oh, that's a weird one.
Yeah.
Although, wait, what's the chat? What's the take on Cyprus? Give me the Cyprus take. Do you know much about Cyprus?
I know all about Cyprus. It's a country.
Cyprus is kind of like, as far as a like geopolitical situation goes, Cyprus is sketchy. They're like half owned by Cyprus, and like half owned by NATO, and like partly owned by, or no, they're half owned by Turkey, half owned by Cyprus, and then there's like a NATO buffer zone in the middle.
Oh shit, this is.
That's
not,
precarious.
That's not gonna rotate.
That's precarious.
That is precarious.
I can give it a rotate.
Look at this. Damn.
Money laundering. Suppression? How do you say? What is the guy who lives in Cyprus called? Cypresian money laundering. What other big sponsors have you taken?
City Skylines.
City Skylines.
That was chill. Paradox Interactive is chill.
Okay. Paradox.
They make those map games. They make like Hoi 4 and like Europa Universalis and that sort of stuff. Paraffin Interactive.
Paraffin?
No.
Paradox.
Paradox
Interactive. Okay.
They're chill. I don't know where they're based.
Stockholm,
Sweden.
Sweden.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweden.
That's good. Have you done World of Tanks? Or have you done Raid Shadow Legends?
I have done Raid Shadow Legends.
So you've gotten Zog money.
I've gotten Zog money. We're talking large amounts of Zog money, okay?
They've offered me, and I said no because I was like, "What? Who the fuck would buy that game off of one of my videos?" I say no to advertisements out of the like
out of kindness to the advertiser.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not gonna end well for you.
This is
I don't want
for you.
I don't want your guy to get fired because of this.
Honestly, I would take Raid's money.
Oh, did I finish my task?
I've already done that, so I don't even have to like. That's not a hypothetical. I have taken Raid's money.
They must pay good.
They pay about the same as everyone else.
What's your? It's not too personal. What's your CPM usually?
On one of those, it's like 20.
20 US?
US.
Okay, that's seems like.
Which is about standard.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who's gotten more than 20. Although
you can get more than 20 if you do like dedicated videos. You get more than 20 if you do like special things. You can do more. It really depends. If you're selling like crypto shit, you could probably do like 40.
God damn.
But don't do that.
Yeah, I've said no to a lot of crypto.
Yeah.
Although
that's just like actually just a scam. At least the game ones, there is a game there. Even Raid Shadow Legends. And like Wargaming World of Tanks, there is actually a pretty fun game there, I don't mind it.
Maybe I can exchange, there we go. Come on. Selling all my loot. What have I, ground news, who's, I never like look into these. I did a, opera is Chinese.
Yes, I've done a lot of opera stuff.
I did a video where I mentioned, they sponsored it, and I mentioned Taiwan in a bit, like as a joke.
They were like, absolutely fucking not.
No, they backed out, and I was like, I'll take the Taiwan joke out because it wasn't like consequential. It wasn't even a joke. I would like literally just mentioned like I said the phrase China invades Taiwan, and they were like, we actually don't want any part in this video at all. Like it completely backed out, even though I offered to change it.
Damn.
Yeah. So
that's rough.
Gotta be careful.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about fucking that shit. He's sold out. What are these numbers?
Sold out to the Chinese.
Young Turks by Ron Stewart is pretty good though. I've sold out. I did the Ground News sponsorship on my last video.
Are they any good?
They're pretty nitpicky, but it's a good service.
Because I've seen the sponsors of them.
Yeah, they're 20 CPM. Oh, they're out of Ontario. Oh, what?
I don't think they'd ever sponsor me, to be honest. Not really the target market.
Yo, Ground News out of Kitchener, Ontario.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's like an hour away.
We should invite them to come by the studio.
Yeah.
Wait, this is the perfect amount of light so I can, like, do this. Hey, guys. You gotta get really close.
Wait, I can,
You gotta just, like, grab the webcam, hit the properties, and just crank that exposure up. No, go close, and you go, hold up. You right click it, and then, shit, it's property, maybe it's that one, the video camera? Properties?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's post-processing. No, go back to, go properties. Okay, now we're looking. I'm feeling a little red. I'm feeling like a lobster right now. Mr. Graham. Oh my god, that's good.
Hold on, Brogan. I have to make a tweet for you.
What would you do if what would you do if the Joker was purple? What would you do if the Joker was purple?
Hold on, I'm gonna grab it for the bit.
Okay.
Brogan, I have to make a tweet for you now.
Okay, you're gonna tweet for me?
Yep.
Okay.
5 characters.
Okay. You want to craft this?
Fucking blue.
It's like, I mean, it's never gonna go back to normal.
That looks pretty natural.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Properties. Configure video. And then you grab camera control.
Camera control.
And then exposure. You gotta change it off of auto. So uncheck that box. And now you have full control.
Bro,
that's pretty bright. I think
It's
yeah,
light.
if you well that's the thing. It like changes the shutter speed of the camera. So chuck it on super high.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
That's fun.
And then you can up the brightness in the video. What is it? Video proc amp on the top left.
Okay.
No, this is good. Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
This isn't appropriate.
Hold on. You're under arrest.
Is this appropriate? I don't even know what it was at.
I love just taking over the stream to do complete bullshit. Put it, you check it back on auto, it'll figure it out.
Okay. What were you looking up, Greg? You had a tweet for me to craft.
Yeah, Twitter.
Okay. I'm not twitter.com.
Open it up. All right. I got 5 characters for you. Okay.
It better not be anything bad. Hazog. Hazog.
Hazog Piker. Oh wait. Hold on. What letter do you think I'm missing?
Hassan. Hazog.
Maybe I should leave.
Oh, we're gonna end this.
We're gonna end this stream right now. I'm.
Pibbity. Hazog. Payuk Tour.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Okay.
Hawkson.
Hawkson.
Twiker. Perfect. Yes.
That's incredible. Post.
We did it. That's it. That's the tweet.
Congratulations, America.
Okay, I'm retweeting.
What is this? Tall and short women enjoying tall men while we short, small dick incels rot on antidepressant. I wish I could have heard genetics so my sons would be happy. This is Professor Blackpill posting a picture of Nikki the Hegelian.
Wait, what's Nikki saying? Is that her boyfriend?
Nikki said Hegel spoke of this.
Hegel spoke of this?
curious people on Twitter, man.
I got so many likes. Ayn Rand did what? Yeah, there we go. Neutron Star. Oh, I love Neutron Star. Is Neutron Star in the chat? It's my most. This is my most loyal retweeter.
You're just gonna, Hassan, you're just gonna take that and not say anything? That's awesome. Yeah, Neutron Star is awesome. You have a good chat, Brogan.
I like my chat.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. No one's annoying.
No one is annoying. I think I've purged the annoying people. Everyone's pretty fun. Ask Drake if he's a cookie clicker addiction. You should get addicted to.
No.
Why?
I'm addicted to enough things.
Cookie click is chill. It's a chill addiction. It's not gonna like give you. I don't know. It's not gonna kill you.
This is my fucking this webcam perspective is cooked. I don't know.
I think you should make us blue again.
I don't know how it got that grainy. It's so bad.
I think it's just dark in this room.
It is just dark in this room. Oh yeah, it's doing numbers already. This might be the end for him. Oh god.
Alright, I'm gonna head out.
Head out? Are you going to bed?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a sleepy guy.
Have fun. Have fun on the
Goodbye,
couch.
chat.
Have fun on the couch.
Yeah. Adios.
All right. We're back. We're so fucking back. It's just us again. What's up? What's up? Finally, we're alone now. What are we looking at? Oh, god fucking damn it, Nikki. Get the fuck out of this goddamn shit. Women are so fucking annoying. They always get into such aesthetics-based politics. It's so fucking annoying. What do you think about this picture of Nikki the Hegelian with Groypers?
With Groypers?
Groypers for Trump.
Groypers for Trump? Like, why is that a, why are you putting for Trump in there?
I don't know.
Are there Groypers not for Trump?
I think people just want to be cool so fucking bad, Craig. I think people want to be cool so fucking bad.
This is awesome.
I could save Nikki.
Save Nikki?
From her grift. From her inevitable clout grift. Is the whole thing with the Hegelians and mega communism just the fact that it's like dialectical? Like, are they building their actual fucking worldview off of like dialectics? Being like, oh, this is like my first axiom is that things must be dialectical, therefore this is good.
Are you asking that from the MAGACOM perspective or from the Hegelian perspective? Like,
Why the Hegelian is into mega communism?
So you say the Hegelian is into MAGA communism, implying that it's more than two people?
Yeah, it's like Haas is a Hegelian.
I think that Marxists are deep into academic lore and theory and stuff.
I think Marxists should touch fucking grass.
Touch grass.
I think Marxists
should all touch grass.
Did I do that?
Yeah. You said.
I was gonna say kill themselves, but then I changed it to touch grass. Yeah, I fucking hate Marxists. Fuck them. Iran attacks. Oh, thank you, Drama Alert. I love when Drama Alert tweets about the war.
Iran attacking Israel with hundreds of missiles.
This is just
mind blown.
This is just Keemstar.
What is up, Drama Alert Nation?
Whoa!
Welcome back to the continuing situation with Iran and Israel. The conflict widens after several rockets have been fired. Hundreds are dead. Welcome, what is up, Drama Alert Nation? 41,000 Palestinians have been massacred over the last year. That's what he does. I'm just saying facts.
Is dialectic just gaslighting? It's just trial and error, right? Like I'm still not missing anything. It's just fucking trial and error. Like I feel like I've read a bit of Hegel. It's trial and error.
I don't know if that's the true.
Dialectics is just trial and error.
I don't know if that's true.
There's truth.
We get to this point in the podcast, the Hegelian E-Girl podcast, where Rogan figures out dialectics. He's like, oh, it's just trial and error, and all the three gears.
I've looked into it. I've looked into it a lot more since then.
I don't know what dialectics is.
I don't think fucking anyone does.
I don't know what dialectics is. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is. Anyway, also we have to give Mart and his girl the studio for at midnight.
At midnight?
Yeah.
I can't stream all night on stream.
I mean, you probably could as long as you close the door.
What do you think with that?
I don't think you're getting really anywhere with this at this point.
You don't like that?
You're just kind of scrolling Twitter.
You don't like
and you're like free associating with the dopamine.
Come on, you don't like that?
That's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good, dude.
It's pretty good.
Dude, I'm in RuneScape. I made a million GP in like 2 hours, and I'm like looking at this fucking Zog Death Star. Like,
I don't like this narrative. Okay, Groypers are against Trump shilling for Israel, but they still believe that he's better than Kamala. Like, if the Groypers are going to vote for Trump. You know? Like, they'll complain about Trump, but they'll still vote for Trump. Like, what are they going to do? They're going to vote for Kamala? They're not going to vote for Kamala. So they're going to vote for Trump. And it's very simple. It's a very simple equation.
Yeah. Where's the Hegelian E-dads? Where's the Hegelian E-dads?
Where's the Hegelian E? Finally, someone says it.
Someone's asking the big questions that no one wants to ask. I'm asking the real questions that nobody wants to ask.
Actually, you know, maybe there are some Groypers that aren't going to vote for Trump.
Who are they going to vote for?
No one. Because, like, Trump's too zogged. It's possible. I don't want to dismiss their political perspective, but
these blueberry specials are not selling. 500 blueberry specials, Greg. Let's bury that price down. These are bad items. That's a bad item. Let's fucking just like bury that price half off. Oh god, those are not selling, Greg.
Wait, this is a good one. Where's the Hegelian T-girls? That's genius. That's an excellent that's great. Sorry, I'm not getting dopamine from RuneScape.
Are you sure?
I guess I could. I should probably do. I should probably go home actually.
Come on. Look at that. Does that give you dopamine? 10 million GP?
Is there inflation in RuneScape?
There is a lot of inflation in RuneScape, actually. There's a lot of items that are worth so much money that the game's code can't calculate it. So you can only sell it for... They had to introduce a new currency that's worth like 100 times the old currency for each piece. Because there's items that are so expensive that you can't trade them. Yeah. There's also tax in RuneScape.
There's tax?
There's tax in RuneScape.
That's new.
They had to introduce a tax to lower inflation.
So this is old school RuneScape, right?
Yeah.
So it's old school plus some updates, some quality of life updates.
It's its own game. Like there's like such a dramatic amount of updates in this game that weren't in 2007.
So it's not 2007 RuneScape.
It started as that, but it's like RuneScape and RuneScape 3 and old school RuneScape are like entirely different games. But this is so the only thing similar between this and actual like 07scape is graphics. This is like a totally different game though.
Prends la dopamine de mes commentaires. Ben Chitty's in the chat speaking French because he's going to a French land. He's just practicing his French in his own dopaminergic way.
I'm gonna permaban anybody who speaks French.
That's just Ben Chitty.
Sorry.
Il y a beaucoup de gens qui se parlent à propos des gens incroyables, les idées idiotes et les gens stupides.
I only speak cracker.
I only speak cracker.
Yeah, we're gonna pin that. That's getting pinned.
I am so schizo-optimistic right now.
Schizo-optimistic?
Schizo-optimistic.
Schizo-optimistic.
That's what JJ is. I'm schizo-optimistic.
Hey, I'm with JJ. I want to get JJ and Destiny and me in a room together.
F, marry, kill, Hegelian T-girls, everything bagel, and deadbeat dad. That's a tough one. F the everything bagel. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's the least gay option.
I'm gonna kill the Hegelian tea girls because they obfuscate.
Okay. F the T girls. F the dad and F the everything bagel.
Kill yourself.
Kill myself and then marry
Satan. What do you think about this? I have a mod
each other.
that makes it so I can zoom out too far and it makes it all wide angle and sketchy.
Oh, I was wondering how the zooming thing works. I don't remember that in old school RuneScape.
Point and click adventure game.
Can you do that?
No. You can zoom.
No.
You can do that.
Okay, I'm gonna go to sleep.
Yeah, me too, probably. Any final questions? Any burning questions? Gay son or thought daughter? Gay son. Would you wear Crocs? No. Opinions. Disco Asylum, never played it. Don't know who Mies van der Rohe is. English. Young Sheldon. Yes. Mandolin or banjo? Fuck, that's a hard question. Mandolin. Gay daughter or slut son? Gay daughter. No, slut son. Slut son. Lesbian's got a bad track record with, like, being happy. Alcohol is not worth quitting. Genuine opinion here. Quit alcohol if you need to do something. Go on a lock-in. Quit alcohol for like 3 months and like really focus on shit. But you cannot meet someone for the first time quicker than you can while you're drunk. It's very important. You're not going to overcome that unless you're like a special type of person. You need to drink. You want to socialize? You want to do well in business? You need to drink. Weed? No, fuck weed. I would love to move to America or anywhere else. I'm so sick of Canada. Calvin Klein underwear. Not a scam. Get it from Winners or Ross or where it goes on sale for $10. Coke. Big spoon. I'll answer anything in one word, honestly. You got me. Got me full blast. Prescription stimulants. Yeah, occasionally. Fent. Book club. Tribe Called Quest. I'm pretty happy. MJ Lenderman is my favorite new musician right now. Hardwood. Hyperborea. Choking victim. How could you be happier right now? More money. Definitely more money. I'm not at the point where money has stopped making me happy. All the more money I earn, the happier I get because life just gets incrementally easier. I'm sure that will stop at a certain income threshold, but I have not reached that yet. Mike Tyson, why America over Canada? Better business, nicer people, more opportunity. What are you doing after this? Going to bed. Gooner wife. Yeah, Gooner wife, absolutely. Storage container. Civic nationalism versus traditionalist conservatism versus free market socialism. Crack. Don't know who those people are. Next stream, probably Thursday night. Dry. Interlink. Best piece of media in the last 10 years. I don't watch a lot of stuff. The Big Short is an amazing movie. It's objectively an amazing piece of cinema, and then also the way it breaks the fourth wall is phenomenal and very intelligent. It's something that could only be done, like, truly something that could only be done and what should be done with massive movie budgets. It's like the kind of thing that if you're like given an infinite budget and you want to make a movie about something like that just delivers the most important message as quickly as possible, the Big Short's an amazing example of that. Enlightened centerism. 2049. Okay, I'm logged into RuneScape. I'm ending it. I'm gonna be back Thursday night, probably Thursday night. I'll let you know. I gotta bang a fucking. If this video keeps doing bad, I gotta bang a fucking video real fast. So thank you. God bless. Never kill yourself. Also, yeah, never kill yourself. That's it. Full stop. Patreon.com/RChat. Join the book club. God bless.